Break him down. Break him down.
Come to my live stream.
Hello everybody, what's going on, guys? Hello. How's it going, guys? Welcome to today's TacoCast, and I have here some wonderful special guests. Like always, our regulars, we have Corey CC Gaming, we have Venge, we have Chadley, and for our guests, we have our lovely handsome man Kink and the mystery man Dino. What's up, guys? How's it going? Welcome. How is your weekend going, my friends?
Weekend's going good, man. How about you?
You know what? I can't complain. Yeah, I can't complain. Everything's going good. Just kind of hanging out, surviving. You know, it's just another day. But other than that, it's been good. It's been good. I'm very happy. Let me just do a quick here. Let me give everybody a little shout out here who's watching us right now. So I won't say everybody because there's 30 something people watching us, but Steffi, hello. Bala, hello. Sam, hello. BWW, hello. How's it going? Cora, hello. Dino GT, what's up? How's it going? Emily, hello. Stevie J, what's up? Mr. Diego, hello. SOTPC, hello. Welcome everybody. Pretty Brown Eyes, hello. Guys, as most of you know, if you are new to the podcast, what we do is we will be answering everybody's question through chat. We don't actually say it on there, but we see it. If you have any questions for us, please ping us, so at whoever, and then let us know what your question is, and I will write it down. So then at the end of this, at the end of our stuff, we will get to your questions and answer any questions you guys may have. Respect the rules, guys, please, and let's all have fun and have fun discussion. So shall we begin? Let's begin. Well, first things first. How is your month of October going? Are you guys doing anything special because it's month of October? And what games have you guys been playing off stream since the last time we had this conversation? Go ahead, Corey.
Well, so my month's going pretty good, actually. Can't complain. Nothing bad. As far as am I doing anything special for October? I tried. I was gonna do like Luigi's Mansion and some like Friday the 13th and stuff, and just kind of never got to it. But as far as what I'm doing off stream, I've been playing a lot of Dead Cells and Starlink off stream, and recently, you know, that Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Venge, what about you, my friend?
Whew, this month was something else. It was actually pretty decent. I would say, in terms of like games or whatnot, like I've been very busy, especially with the whole process of getting reacclimated with the streams, because I took quite a bit of time like getting everything together with the new PC. Games that I've been playing were usually the typical games, but the one game that I've been playing as of late that I wasn't really familiar with, like the Zelda franchise. I have been enjoying Zelda Twilight Princess, but I really got frustrated with that game because of the fact that it's so easy for me to get lost every stream, and so it was like it wasn't until Saturday that I just had it, because I literally lost it on stream, not in a bad way, but I was triggered. Yes, I was. You saw the messages I put in there. It was quite dark, so I was like, "That's it." Taking a break from Twilight Princess after Wednesday of next week and play Skyward Sword for a bit. And but the game that I really want to talk about, Cuphead, because I always wanted to play that game, and I finally got a chance to play it. And boy, oh boy, is Cuphead smexy, man.
It is. It is. Kink, what about you, good sir?
Well, quick question for Venge. How are you gonna do a pacifist playthrough on Cuphead? Super fun. And what I mean is during all the run and gun portions, there's like 5 of them that you can go through. Each run and gun portion you can go through without killing anything, not even one thing, and then you get special reward at the end for completing all the levels doing that.
The run and guns?
Yeah, not the bosses. Obviously, the bosses you have to kill. You can't really. Obviously, you can try to give them flowers, but they're not gonna. They're not.
No, they're
well,
not.
one flower will just kill you. Yeah.
That sounds amusing. I have to give that a shot.
Super fun.
I'll give that a shot after I get a nice run of playing that game. Nice. That sounds cool.
But for me, when it comes to games, I played through, you were talking about Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead Redemption 2. We played through Red Dead Redemption 1 and Undead Nightmare. Really fantastic games if you guys haven't played those. Did you guys play through the Undead Nightmares?
I did, yes.
You did? It's pretty great. Do you guys think that they're going to be doing more on that?
I hope they do.
Another one?
I hope they do. That would be really nice. Other than that,
awesome.
How's your month of October?
It's been pretty darn fantastic. Just all the greatness that is going on is going.
For sure. Dino, what about you, my friend? How was your month of October going? Do you have any plans, or have you been doing any planning for it, and what games have you been playing off stream or on stream?
Oh man, a lot of Super Mario World, Super Mario Bros. 3. I'm just a retro dude, so I got to keep doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
And then on top of that, I play like, various fighting games. I recently played Street Fighter. That's just something I'm very addictive on. I like to practice that game a lot, so very cool stuff there. But overall, just any retro game that comes my way, I've been playing it. So I played a lot of ROM hacks, which are pretty fun too. Played some Mario Maker, but a lot of Mario stuff. So that's the good stuff.
That's the good stuff for sure. No, I agree 100%. Chadley, what about you, my friend?
Well, you guys know, off stream I don't really get a chance to do much gaming, but on stream I've been doing, similar to Dino, I've been doing a lot of retro stuff lately. Like I played through like all the original Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario World, hoping to soon be able to go through and do a full playthrough of Mario 64 as soon as my converter comes in the mail. So yeah, so there's like a lot of retro games I have on my plate that I want to get to in the near future. So
Yeah.
For sure. And well, thank you for subscribing, Donald. Super appreciate it. Thank you all who have been subscribing since the stream has started. Really appreciate it. Yeah, so myself, I've been doing for the last 2 weeks, I've been doing one costume every Monday. So last week was Zelda. I was Link, not Zelda, Link. And then the last Monday I was Master Chief. And then this Monday I'm dressing up again, so that'll be a nice surprise for all of you. That'll be fun. And then I've been trying to play spooky games every Friday. Unfortunately, this Friday I missed it. Oh well. But we did do FNAF, and we got up to like day 4, I believe. And I got owned 3 times, like bad. So that was fun. Other than that, off stream I've been playing. I'm still playing Star Ocean. Still playing that. That game's so addictive, and I can't stop playing it.
So good.
It is. It's so good. And I've been playing a lot of SNES stuff. So just trying different games, different games that maybe I've never heard of or I never tried. And that's been fun. That's been really fun. That's about it, to be honest. Nothing really special. On stream, I tried doing some Red Dead Redemption, but again, a lot of people want to experience number 2 for themselves first.
Yep.
So I'm not really rushing to stream that one right now at this moment. But other than that, it's been really good. I've been really enjoying that one. I get super addictive. Like, I don't want to put it down, but it's good. It's a good game. All right, guys. So on to the business part. So as you all know, Fallout 76 came out beta-wise for Xbox first. I believe the PlayStation and the PC are coming out this week, if I'm not mistaken.
On the 30th?
On 30th, yes. Okay, but so far, what I've seen and read and heard, some people are not too happy with Fallout 76. They're saying, they're not using a new engine. It doesn't look that good. A little, it's been polished, none more or less. Oh. Scared me. Just letting that pass. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the Taco team. Welcome to the family. So they've been saying that, it's polished, but they should have done a new engine. And I guess they were having connectivity issues for a while with the Xbox version. And people are saying that it's lonely. Like, it's really rare you can find somebody and other people in towns. What are your thoughts on this? And do you think they should have used a new engine for this game?
So when you talk about the engine, I'm going to say it's probably well about time that they made a new engine. But do you want a new game to play now, or do you want a game to play 2 more years down the line, when they make a new engine? But that at the same time, I've heard plenty of not good stuff about the game so far. I've seen a lot of videos. I have not seen a complaint about it being lonely, though. That's not something that I've personally seen in the reviews and stuff that I've seen from people. But I'll be trying it out on Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever that starts off on PC.
For sure.
But I definitely, I think they should have made a new engine for it, but I want to play it now. I'm kind of excited to check it out regardless. So I think it looks good to me. It still looks fine. Fallout 4 looked fine. Fallout 4 looks fine. Like, it doesn't have to be cutting edge, but
Yeah. No, well, for sure.
That's the way I look at it.
No, I hear you for sure. I agree. Venge, what about you, my friend?
Be my dude. Okay, let me get back into focus here, man. That caught me off guard. That was so nice, man. So wonderful. All right, let me get back right. Okay, so here's my thing, because I'm a big, when it comes to the whole if it ain't broke, don't fix it thing.
Yep.
That I can understand, speedy delivery, you want to speed up the process, especially since this is a beta and everything. But once again, it's I just have this problem with this, rehashing the same thing or using something just because you're following the principle, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Especially when it comes to a new sequel, so to speak. Like, eventually you're using better technology, and sometimes maybe like the old engine may not be able to keep up with whatever demands that they're looking for. Maybe they need more, and they have to rebuild it in order to accommodate those changes. Now, I'm not huge on Fallout, but I am familiar with the things that people are very passionate about. And that's one of the weaknesses, the sequels, especially in this generation, because of the fact that the fans of a series, if they have been playing this game for a very long time, meaning they've had sequels that went beyond 2, like their expectations is just going to skyrocket from sequel to sequel. So you have to be aware of that, because you screw up one thing, they will be on you like white on rice. Case in point, example, Devil May Cry. When Capcom decided to outsource Devil May Cry to Ninja Theory, and I guess it was the whole thing that Capcom didn't know what to do with it anymore at that time, and so they decided to outsource it to Ninja Theory. And then when Ninja Theory went, when their turn was up for the E3 reveal, then you have everyone like hating this game severely because of the presentation. It didn't meet their expectations, especially since they felt like they turned Dante into, things that they just downright hate. It was like they didn't see him as cool, so it was a lot of backfires. So it's like you gotta be careful of stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. Glab, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the Taco Team. Welcome to the family. Emily made a good little point here. Where was it? Hold on. Where was her thing? She said that she would like, it's good, but a new engine is needed. She's like, not a Fallout 4 clone, because that's how it felt to me.
That's how it looks. I mean, that's definitely how it looks.
Yeah, for sure. Kink, what about you, good sir?
Fallout 4.
Talking to me about Fallout, that's my main, that's the main thing. If you guys don't know, that's like what I started on. That's like what I'm a huge Fallout 4 builder. I built the biggest structures that are even on Fallout that even anybody has ever built, for that matter, and on PS4. So that's like how I got all my initial viewership in the beginning, was purely Fallout 4 builds, and that was like the game that I was stuck on for a long time, and I stopped building after building several cities and things like that. You got if you guys anywho, the great thing about Fallout I loved was their building aspect. The being able to like just plop down a spot and build anywhere. They're doing that in this new one. They're doing that in this new one for sure, but I want to see it. I want them to be bigger. I want them to go further. I want them to be huger. I want more people to be able to interact, because one thing that people were always saying was like, man, I wish I could download this. Man, I wish I could join you and help build this together, like Minecraft, but way more better definition.
No, for sure.
Ooh, yeah.
What's your thought?
Minecraft? What?
4K Minecraft.
Kind of.
Yeah. What's your thought on them using the old engine versus the new one? Like,
The old engine. Well, see,
should they have gone new engine, or do you think they should have? It doesn't matter, because as long as the game is good.
In this case, since they're not updating the hardware is remaining the same. That the new engine, sure, might simplify things, might more optimize things to make it more effective, more useful, and run smoother. But they're already having a system that runs as smooth as they're going to get. Because I mean, let's be honest, it's already pretty glitchy just as a base. Like all of them are. all Bethesda games that are huge open worlds have massive number of glitches, but you know, you overlook them because it's just you still have so much fun playing them. And in the case of like, if they can get a system to work with multiplayer, I'd be happy, because games have problems with multiplayer, like as we see with the Nintendo Switch recently. You know, people sometimes have problems doing multiplayer well, and it's rather that they kind of step their foot into it rather than jump in with a huge multiplayer release, because Bethesda's notoriously bad at multiplayer. I mean, they did Doom pretty well, I think, but
yeah, for sure. Dino, what do you got to say about Fallout?
Oh man, I got a lot. No, actually, I don't have much to say because I've never played Fallout. But I will say this. If people aren't happy with how the beta is, then obviously what you need to do at that point is get the feedback of every single person, or just the people that have played that game quite a bit. I think feedback is so important for these types of games. Like, if you don't get feedback from the community, some people, they'll take the feedback, but they're not going to implement that feedback. So it's like, when are you going to actually like look at the feedback and do something? So if the beta is not good and people aren't happy about it, obviously there's an issue. Stuff needs to be fixed, but it's a beta. So we know how betas work. Betas aren't always perfect. They never are.
Yeah.
There's always something that's an issue with it. So
well, yeah, and the name of it.
yeah. Exactly.
Unfortunately, this beta is only like 2 weeks out from when the game comes out. This is the full and entire game, by the way. If anybody didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
The beta. So technically, it's like a 4-hour stress test at a time, I think. And my understanding is that you're not actually restricted. Like, it is the full game. You're downloading. I've got download right now. I just can't play it yet. So if there's a lot of problems, that's something that they really won't have a lot of time to address immediately, because they're doing a stress test essentially right before it comes out. So,
yeah, for
sorry
sure.
to interrupt you.
No worries. Chadley, what about you, my friend?
I've never really played Fallout, mainly because, well, like, it's on PC too, right?
Yeah,
like the older ones and stuff too.
Yep.
Or no?
Yeah, they're on PC.
So I never really got into the Fallout and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, I kind of see this trend with the whole beta thing. If there's a lot of people that are not liking it, like Corey said, they're not going to have a lot of time to fix it up right at launch. But I see this trend with too many games where it's like the beta comes out, people complain about it, they still launch the game even though they have a lot of complaints. They, instead of saying, hey, let's take a little bit of extra time to polish this thing out because we hear what you're saying and we know you want a good quality game. Like, companies don't push it out anymore. Like, they don't listen to like what the community has to say, as far as like, oh, we're getting a crap load of feedback here, people not liking this game, maybe we should just take a step back. And I think the community will understand if we have to go back and polish this for a couple months or something like that, instead of pushing it out and then have a DLC or have a patch or something later that addresses the problems that people were having with the game. It's like everybody's about pushing the game out as fast as possible, and they don't care anymore of like, it's too much of a, that's what it's reminding me of. It just seems like every time there's a beta for any game, like, it has problems, and then they just throw their hands up in the air and say, well, it is beta, so like whatever.
No, for sure. No, I hear exactly what you're saying. Yeah, like, unfortunately, like, for me, I played Fallout 3 and a little bit of Vegas, and then I didn't want to play Fallout 4 because it doesn't interest me. Those games don't interest me. I tried them and I got just flustered because Fallout 3 had a lot of issues. Fallout Vegas had a lot of issues, and those issues always appeared to me, and it would get me stuck or make me restart the whole game. Hence why I didn't want to get into it. I watched Kink play it, and that's how I got my experience off of it, by watching Kink play it. So, and I really enjoyed it, what I saw. This will be the first time, again, that I'm going to try Fallout. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna try again, right? That doesn't hurt to try again. You can't just hate on something. So I am gonna be trying it out when the beta comes out. I'll be doing it on PC though to get more of a real experience of it. See if I can really get into it. As for this whole engine thing, I mean, okay, I can see where they were going in the sense of Fallout 76. It's not Fallout 5. Maybe they're holding it off for Fallout 5. That's how I'm looking at it. But it would have been nice to get a new engine instead of using an older one. But again, maybe they might be secretly making a Fallout 5 that we don't know about. And this is just like an in-between thing, trying something new, trying something different, like Daddy Gamer mentioned just a couple minutes ago. But again, like Chadley says, it is a beta, and they're pushing it out like crazy, and they're trying to fix everything. But I don't know. As feeling too lonely, I've only read that stuff. I haven't really, again, I haven't played it. I'll know for sure once I play it. But if it is feeling too lonely, I mean, technically, wouldn't you want that? Because it is like the end of the world, right? So, I mean, you don't want to be crashing into people all the time. I really don't know. Like, I don't know how you would look at this, because this is the first time they do something like this where it's online, open world type based thing, right?
And that's the funny thing is that that's kind of something that they were complaining about, right?
Yeah.
Is that they were complaining that the new Fallout was going to have too much multiplayer and no stories. So now they're complaining the opposite way.
Now they're exactly. So I don't know. But for me, I mean, I'm going to try it out, and I'll have my findings at the end of next month.
You know, also, I think I want to interject real quick before we move on to the next one.
Yeah.
People are talking about, you know, the loneliness in the beta and stuff. And, you know, what's funny is actually you can't even really judge the loneliness right now, because the only people who have played it up until maybe, a couple days ago when the beta started on Xbox, people didn't even have access to it except for, like, media.
Yeah.
And prep. Right? So those people, and now the people with only the access to beta at the moment, how can you complain about it being lonely? I mean, you got to imagine, yeah, anybody has access to get the beta, really, but everybody isn't going to get it.
Exactly.
So you don't have anywhere near the kind of player base you're going to have when the game comes out. You have a tiny fraction of it based on those people that want to check it out early, that aren't playing Red Dead Redemption right now, that aren't doing this, and that, you know, they're going to check it out. So of course they can be lonely because there's like 12 people playing.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not because I don't think it's to do with anything like as far as the game quality or the game, you know, connections or things. I think it's because people legitimately aren't on it right now because it's a beta.
Yeah, no, exactly. I hear you.
And that's what Ryan and Steffi and all were saying. And that's a really good point, is that it's there isn't a player base right now.
No, there isn't. And that's why, like, for me, it's not a big thing. It's not a killer issue. I mean, only time will tell. Once it comes out, that's where we'll really know if it's true what they're saying. But we'll find out. All right, so next one. Red Dead Redemption 2 is out. What are your thoughts on it? And if you haven't yet, is it something you want to pick up? Or are you going to pick it up? And are you guys... Is it what they're saying, where it's a 10 out of 10? Or do you guys think it's a little bit lower? And Corey, go ahead.
So, I've never heard of this game, Red Dead Redemption. No, I'm just kidding.
Red Dead, yeah, it's this game where you play a little dot and you're red and you want redemption.
Oh,
yeah, you have to go look for things for Captain Picard.
There we go.
You're already dead too, apparently.
Now?
I've only played about 5 or so hours of it so far.
Yeah.
And it's a really good game. Like, I'm really enjoying. It's a little bit overwhelming at points because there's so much to do in the game. Like, there's so many things to keep track of. Your stamina, health, and whatever, and then like your horse and stamina and health, and then you got to go hunting, and you got to bathe so that you don't, so your scent doesn't get doesn't distract the hunt and get them, or doesn't track them and make them leave, and and there's just a million things to do. But it's really cool. Like, they don't throw it all on you at once, but it's still, there's so much to do. But on the other hand, to me, it's very slow paced right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not necessarily bad, but I don't think I'd call it a 10 out of 10. I'd probably say, from my experience, it's like an 8.5 to 9.
Mhm.
Like, not bad by any means. And people are gonna hate me, I'm sure, for saying that. But I mean, I just personally wouldn't call it a 10 out of 10. It feels too slow paced, but maybe that's on purpose. You know, you're supposed to be a cowboy. You're not running around shooting up every single village, you know, every town that you see and everything. But it's a little slow. But it's really cool. Like, I'm really thoroughly enjoying it. But it's not necessarily a 10 to me.
Yeah. All right, guys, say goodbye to Corey.
I know, right?
Oh dang!
All right, Benj, what about you, my friend?
I haven't played 2 yet, but I did have a fair amount of experience with the first one, and I must say, the first one was way more immersive. I think, because I remember, in the past I played a lot of, Grand Theft Auto.
Yep.
And it was like the formula got a bit stale, and when they did the whole Red Dead Redemption thing, and I played that, the experience was so fresh and it was really good. The part that always got me about that game was there'll be those random moments where you're just riding and then this music comes out of nowhere and it hits you. Like, I remember riding down the road on a sunset, and that music played, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like a cowboy. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, the experience was so immersive.
Yep.
And so I'm thinking, like, I got a chance to watch my good friend Allie actually play the game, and there was some surprising things about the new game, like the fighting mechanic. Oh, that looked so fun. And then there was the thing that what really intrigued me was the environment. Everything was just live, and I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to try this. And then I saw that the physics. That surprised me because Ali easily killed his horse. I was dying laughing. But I guess there was some realism to it, because the crazy thing about it is once a horse gets injured like that, it's not getting up.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Don't punch your horse then, dang.
Right. He was like, is my horse alive? He was like, oh yes, it's still alive. It was twitching, but then the horse stopped twitching. So that alone got me like, yo, I gotta pick up this game. And so how would I rate it? I'm definitely gonna pick it up. I don't know how I would rate it, but honestly, I feel like it would definitely be like what Corey said. But for me, because of my experience with the first game, I would say I would easily give it a 9 to a 10. I easily would.
Awesome. Kink, what about you, my friend?
Well, before I go on Red Dead Redemption 2, I want to make a couple of points about the first Red Dead Redemptions. There, I don't know if you guys played the first Red Dead Revolver, which was what the other two games are based off of. I didn't even play Red Dead Revolver because it was not considered. I mean, it was considered a good enough game to make a sequel, but not like super duper awesome. That was actually Red Dead Redemption, which, as Venge was saying, it's super immersive. It makes you feel really like a cowboy. Mainly for me, when I first played it, I didn't know about fast traveling in the same way, like from a campfire. So I didn't use that. I actually rode around on the horse everywhere. So you kind of develop this relationship with your different characters. And then there's like, really what made Red Dead Redemption like just crazy is the characters you ran into and the crazy story you went into. And then when you finished with that, you went into the multiplayer, which and it seems like the Red Dead 2 is I haven't actually watched anything on Red Dead 2, guys, so I should probably mention that because I didn't want spoils or anything.
Of course,
like
yeah.
Good, because I was about to give you a big old spoiler. No.
But yeah, no, from I mean, I've seen like people ride horses in the game, so it's like that much. But in any case, the in Red Dead 1, what it was really awesome was all the experience and like things, small things like the fact that cougars could get up on you and kill you without they are the sneakiest little devils in any game history. Like way worse than badgers from Far Cry. But yeah, they're definitely pretty great. Those things, I don't know if they're in the newest ones, but it probably is. Is it those combined with the Undead Nightmare would be really awesome to see in the new one. Do you guys think that they're gonna add an Undead Nightmare version to the new RDR?
I could see it.
I mean, the first Undead Nightmare was like stupidly popular. It was well done. I personally would think they'd be dumb not to. I would. I hope they do.
Right.
But...
Well, it's been every person I've ever asked about Undead Nightmare it seems pretty unanimous that people like this. So they'll probably do another one. Do you guys think that they should add more things like that across games? Like
Zombies always.
Well, no, not just zombies, but I mean like reuse, like how cool would it be for other games? Like I don't know, like some of the Just Cause series or Far Cry, if they reuse their same material. Oh, like Blackout is a great example of it right now. Black Ops 4 and Blackout uses old maps from previous games inside the big map, and that is just one of the coolest features ever. So like what would they did with Undead Nightmare, they used the same area and they just gave it a different story. Do you think that can transfer into other games well? Do you think that more games should do that?
Sure. I don't see why. Like it just adds an easier amount of content in that sense. You get something new too. I mean, Red Dead did a really good job of it. We're going back again to Red Dead. They did a really good job with the Undead Nightmare. Fantastic job. And I know that at the time, I never played Red Dead 1, so I played that first. And then that made me go, okay, now I want to play Red Dead Redemption itself. How is that? And then I went back and played it, and I was like, wow, why didn't I play this first? But that's why, like, sometimes some people just go and get the DLC first. For example, like how they did, remember when they did Far Cry and they did that, the 80s thing where it was all like the dragon and whatnot? So I went and played that, and I was like, that's really fun, really colorful. What's the real one like? Jumped into it, and I was like, I really like the real one too. Of course, the DLC was a lot better because it was funky, but
right? Definitely. Funky DLCs are always the best.
For sure.
Funky mode DLC for Red Dead Redemption confirmed?
oh yeah, now there's an idea. What would you like? What kind of funky DLC would be hilarious? Like, what's the craziest DLC? Like, is there going to be a battle royale confirmed for Red Dead Redemption?
Everything is going to get a battle royale.
Everything's going to get a battle. Yeah, right?
Everything.
They're going to add in buildings. They're going to pull out a freaking ball peen hammer and nails.
Paladins has a battle royale. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
everything's
getting them.
What about you, Dino? What are your thoughts on Red Dead Redemption 2? Have you played it? Are you getting it?
Pick that up. Great game. But I will have to agree with Corey on it. It definitely is like an 8.5 out of 10 just because of the slow pace of it. So I definitely agree with that. And then in regards to what Ven was talking about with Red Dead Redemption, the first one, comparing that one to the Red Dead Redemption 2, you could see like it was like a warm-up. Like the first Red Redemption was like it literally was like it's like the starting kind of thing. It was like pushed to the side because graphically for this game it's amazing. I love the graphics of this, the open world look. It's realistic. That's one thing I love about these games is when they look realistic, because you really involve yourself in these types of games. Like you engage yourself a lot. So when you have an engaging game like that, that's great. Story, of course, is a little slow, but overall the gameplay was fantastic. I definitely liked it. So,
yeah,
great game.
For sure. That's awesome. And no, you're right. Like, I mean, everybody's gonna have their nitpicks when it comes to games, right? So, what about you, Chadley?
So, I have no way of playing this game, but I have been watching a few other people because I figured if I can't play it, I'm gonna watch it and experience it as other people are playing it. And like I'm really enjoying it. I do agree with the slow pace because I can just from watching it I can tell it almost has like the Wind Waker feel, where you're basically on the horse going to your next place, similar to Wind Waker. You're on the boat to go to your next place, and so yeah, it definitely has that slow pace, but I mean, I really enjoyed watching the parts that I've seen so far. So yeah, but the fact I can't play it, so I don't have a PlayStation or anything like that, or an Xbox, so not yet anyway. But
sure.
But
No,
yeah, I mean, the graphics are amazing in that game, though.
No, for sure, I agree. It was funny because we started playing it on stream. We did a midnight launch for it, and we were all, there was a couple of us because again, it's a game that not a lot of people want to watch because of spoilers. But the little of us that were watching it, we were howling because we were saying the graphics are really nice, but it's not a true test until you get to the water. So like we got to the water, we're like, yep, the game's fantastic. Because that's where it depends on, right? It's always the water. There's the water effect.
Always the water, or jumping off the edge.
Or jumping off the edge. Exactly. So I really enjoyed it. Like I was having fun, and I'm gonna be that guy. I give it a 10 out of 10 because I feel the pace is perfect. I like where we're going with it. The graphics are nice. The story's nice so far from what I'm seeing, and we got straight to the point right away. Here's what's happening. This is what's happening. This is what you're doing. Go. And I like that.
How far did you get in the game?
Of course, I've only been playing for 5 hours, right? I haven't really gotten further in the game. Maybe a little bit more because we're done like everything else. So I can't really say where I am because I don't know how many people have played it, right?
Right.
Yeah, no spoilers, jeez.
Yeah, I know.
So is it more like a build up in your opinion?
Yeah, we're built. Like I feel like something big is gonna happen. I don't know what though. Right? That's why that's why it doesn't really bug me the way the way it's going. I feel it's okay. I do have, I do have one little complaint that drives me nuts, and this is but I still give it a 10, and that's the horse. I cannot stand riding on the horse with the buggy because I can't control it correctly. I don't know. I can control it left, right, and center, but then it won't respond to when I'm trying to stop, and it doesn't respond well when I'm trying to back up. So that's my only major complaint to the game.
No reverse, huh?
It's like I got stuck on a tree and I was like, how the hell? And they're like, you got to get us off the tree. I'm like, I don't know how, so I restarted the game. So that was my only like major complaint off of it. But other than that, it's not. It's a
1
good
out of
game.
10 just for that.
1 out of 10 because the horse can't be controlled. Untamed horse.
I felt like the horses were Skyrim horses, man. We were climbing up the mountains.
Yeah, I know, right? You push the jump button, you can climb up. But it's a good game. I'm really enjoying the game. I'm definitely gonna say that. Okay.
2 pooping horses.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. The horses poop. they actually poop in this game.
What?
I actually really love that idea. The fact that they take that into account. They need to take more of that kind of stuff into account for every game they do. Like every dent. If 2 cars smash into each other in a game, they should account for like how the physics would actually attack, like because it's Rockstar and they're famous for GTA. So
yeah, for
they
sure.
should take in all that detail into account.
When cars wreck into each other in Red Dead Redemption.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. That's the best when 2 cars in Red Dead wreck. I mean, it's almost like it doesn't exist.
Hey Louis, how are you? Okay, so Capcom has always focused on other core money maker and hammered fans with some kind of port or remastered. Do you think the direction Capcom has been taken over the years has had a negative impact in gaming as a whole?
What do you mean by that? Because I was kind of curious
Well, it's Venge's question. So Venge, what did you mean by that, man?
Okay,
Elaborate for us.
I'm a Capcom bully. I'm just gonna put that out there.
I took it as you were asking, like they're doing a lot of remasters and how is it affecting the gaming community? Is that what you're basically going with?
So the thing that I was bringing up when it comes to it negatively impacting is if you look at Capcom over the years, it's like they're not really innovating like they're relying on a lot of the games that's already making them serious dough, right? And then on top of that, they're doing all of these ports. And then you have this remaster, because I literally consider the new Resident Evil 2, as much as I love it, as much as I'm hyped for it, I consider that more like it's like some crazy remaster, because it's Resident Evil 2 still. And it still has like that Resident Evil 2 feel. So I just feel like it's like this whole if it's not broke, don't fix it mentality. And then on top of that, it's like they're not leaving any room for the imagination and not trying to come up with new projects. It's like always the same thing. I'll give them a pass with Mega Man 11 and Resident Evil 2 just because those are some really hype games. But I'm really don't like how they spent almost an entire decade on Street Fighter 4. Get what I'm saying?
Now I understand.
Yeah.
So what are our thoughts on all that?
Okay, so with that said, I'm kind of on the fence, because on one hand, as people are saying in chat, like Capcom knows they can do stuff like Resident Evil 2 because everyone and their mom wants it, right? If the players and consumers want it, I don't feel like it's a negative thing for them to make it. I can also understand when people say it about everybody, right? Like Nintendo and anybody that's doing all these remakes and remasters and all, people are upset that they're not putting out like new stuff rather than, remaking the old safe stuff. But as a company, as a business, when they have a choice of going, do we make something new and take a chance that it will sell or that it will do well, or do we remake or remaster for a fraction of the cost something that we know will do amazingly? People are going to gripe and complain, sure, but they're going to buy it. At the end of the day, they're going to buy it. So it's like, I don't feel like there's anything negative necessarily by them doing it, because they're making money, and that's the company wants to do that, right? And people are buying the stuff. So everybody's like really happy, even though they're complaining, because they wouldn't buy it. They wouldn't, if they didn't want it, they wouldn't buy it regardless. I mean, that's just all there is to it. If they were so unhappy with the situation, they would not be buying these remakes and remasters. But that's simply not the case. So I don't think it's negative, but I can understand people's want for more new original content from everybody, from Nintendo, from Capcom, Square Enix, anybody who's doing all these remakes and re-releases. I absolutely can understand the want for making, for new content, but I also understand them wanting to make money off of safe content that they're gonna sell like hotcakes.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Kink?
I as a player of not the earlier Resident Evils. Wait, quick question. Capcom didn't make Silent Hill, did they?
No, Konami did.
No, that was Konami.
Okay, so anywho, I never played the Resident Evils when I was younger, but I did play the Resident Evil remastered, and I really loved it. And I was like really enjoying the remastered version of it. I tried to play the original version after having played through it on the remastered, and I just found it so difficult to play from that. And like, I've been waiting for the Resident Evil 2 one to come out because I want to play it, but I don't know. I feel like if they're already gonna make that remaster, I mean, because you guys are right, they're gonna be, as Corey was saying, they're gonna be going to make the money. They want to make the money any way they can, and they're gonna go make the money with a Resident Evil 2 remastered. Now they're gonna run out of things to remaster, because Resident Evil 3 is not all that bad looking, even as a base. Because I was just watching, I'm pretty sure Rigo was just playing that. Weren't you, Rigo?
I was doing number
Resident
2.
Evil 3? Number 2?
Number 2.
No,
yeah.
you were doing them. Oh, so that was number 2 that I was watching. That
was
doesn't
number
even
2.
look that bad.
No,
I mean,
for a PlayStation
and
1 game, no, definitely not.
Yeah, that was solid.
and then Resident Evil 4 definitely doesn't need any doesn't need any of the remastering. So like I think that they're gonna run out of games to remaster, and it should be, and like they're definitely gonna go where the money is, where the money flows, and if they can milk it, I mean they've been milking Street Fighter for like I don't even know how many years.
Forever.
For a long time, they have been milking that series. What are other series? They've been milking arcade game series just all over the board for a long time.
Avenge.
Do they own Sonic? No.
No,
Oh,
no,
no.
no, no, they don't want Sonic.
That's Sega.
For sure. What about you, Dino? What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, they're always going to do this. You know, this is Capcom. They want to make money, and they know that, you know, fans like particular titles. And, you know, when Venge talks to me about this, because we always beef on Capcom. Like, they really do suck. Like, hardcore. But the main thing that they suck on is those DLCs, okay?
Yes,
The
I agree.
DLCs are worse, especially in Street Fighter V. I'll tell you this. You go in the shop, like, 80% of the things you got to pay with your money, and you cannot use it with the fight coins that you earn. Fight money. You can't do it. There's some things that you can, like 20% of the game you can buy with the fight money. 80%, give me your money. Give me the cash.
Yep.
I need the cash. So I mean, in general, I mean, Capcom's gonna do this for the money. That's making them money, and obviously anything that's popular, any particular title, they're gonna use that and then keep making remasters and ports for some of these stuff because they know that people love it and they know that people will pay for it. Is it right? Not really. But are they going to do it? Yeah, because it makes them money.
Yeah.
I mean, to be point blank there.
Chadley, what about you, my friend?
Yeah, Capcom. Yeah. I agree with everything, but I mean, I love Mega Man, so like I had to pick up like the Mega Man Legacy Collection. I'm gonna be picking up the Mega Man X Legacy Collection when I get a chance to. I'm gonna pick up Mega Man 11 because the game just looks so fun. So like, as far as like franchises of their IPs, like I love Street Fighter. I haven't played it in a while, but I haven't played any of the really newer Street Fighter games. But like, I always loved their classics. So like, I can understand them wanting to like bring the classics to a new era, a new group of people that have never played those classics or have played them very little, just because of the age difference. Like, obviously we were playing those Capcom games when we were kids. Now we have kids that are our age that have never played those games, but we're in this like kind of weird state of, we have all these new games, but then we have all these old games that the kids today want to play. Like, they want to play the old retro games. Like, you never would think that, but Capcom sees that probably, and that's just another reason. I mean, yes, they want to make money ultimately, but that could be another driving force, is that they have all these great games that they can release and on the newer consoles, and they don't have to do anything with them. They don't have to make them look better. Like, nobody cares if they look better. Like, they're great games to begin with. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Ultimate, yeah, but I mean, yes, I think Capcom needs to do something that's fresh, that's new, that like kind of reinvents themselves. Like, they got to do that eventually. Like, otherwise they're going to run out of stuff to do. Like,
no, for sure. No,
yeah.
I agree.
Or they start remastering stuff.
Oh yeah, exactly. Remaster. And you know what? Like, I agree. Like Mega Man 11, I've been watching people play, and I really want to play it. I want to pick it up. It looks great. It's a new Mega Man. Fantastic, you know? But I would like to see them start a new IP, something different, something new. I mean, I'm all excited for Resident Evil 2, like stupidly excited. I'm hyped for it. And then they announced that they're making another Resident Evil game, but nobody knows what it is. They don't know if it's another remaster or remake, but they're just saying that people are going to be hyped because it's another Resident Evil game. Well, they're working on two. One is an actual remaster, and then they just said they're working on another one. So, I mean, again, we're going back to the remastered thing. We're going back to the same IPs that they already trust because they know people are going to buy them. You know? I would like them. I would like to see them do something different. And of course, it's like Ryan and everybody's been saying, they probably won't. They're gonna ride it as long as they can until the very end, you know, because they're making money already. They're doing a great job, and you know, everybody's buying, like it or not, people are buying remakes, remasters, and because they will. They can complain all they want, and they turn around like, have my money, take it. Because it's games that are working, right? That's how I look at it. Okay, keeping on Capcom. So Capcom came out and they said they're bringing some Resident Evil games to the Switch. They announced Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 4, all coming to the Switch. But is this good news? What are your thoughts on them doing that? And then is this good news for Nintendo? Are they opening up more to a mature group of people and mature group of games? And is this good for them? So go ahead, Corey.
Well, kind of like we were just saying before, like we all said, re-releasing, remastering, that stuff's never a bad thing, right? Like, so extra people can play it now. First of all, different people that maybe only have a Switch or didn't have the capability to play it on another console, they get to play it now. So that's a plus always. More games on a console is 100% always a plus. I don't care if it's a crappy mobile port or whatever. More games on a console is still always a good thing. So first, that's my first take on it. Nintendo, this is not Nintendo opening up to a more mature audience, because they've already opened up to a pretty mature audience with Senran Kagura and all those other games. Just saying. I mean,
Yep.
But that's not to make an argument. I'm just saying, like, as they are already opened up to a mature audience compared to only the kids, right? But no matter what, this is a good direction regardless. More games, more money going to, say, Capcom. So that's, hopefully meaning more games will come out from them, whether they be remakes or new content or whatever. So regardless, no matter what, more, like I said before, more games are definitely a better thing, always a good thing. And then, like I said, it's not necessarily them opening up to a more mature audience, but it is still pushing for that direction. So that's, again, I think that's a good thing, because that means more people can play the games, more people will buy the console.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are going to say, oh, that looks like a kid's console or whatever, kiddie games, but somebody else could go, well, that's got Resident Evil. Wait a minute, I'm grown, I'm going to buy that. I want to get the head. So yeah, I just think it's a good thing all around, really, to be honest.
No, for sure. What about you, Venge?
As harsh as I was, you guys brought up some very convincing points in regards to that. Because like I said, even I said that I would give Resident Evil 2 a pass because I'm a Resident Evil junkie. Mega Man 11, I want that. So I mean, it's undeniable when it comes to a popular title. People will buy. Just like how I said long ago, I was excited about Phoenix Wright being available on PS4, Switch. I think it's on the Switch too. I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's coming out soon. It still irks me, but I have to accept it. So I'm going to accept it. That doesn't mean I'm super happy about it, but like you guys said, not Nintendo, but Capcom, eventually they're going to have to wake up after they run out of stuff. So in regards to Resident Evil being released again, Resident Evil 4 on the Switch again, 0 on the Switch again, it's you guys got me. Because there are people that didn't grow up in that era, so they get the chance to experience it. So, quote unquote, that would bring more people over to Nintendo if they never experienced it. Because you got people like that. Well, this game isn't on here. I'm not going to get this system.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's really a plus. And like Corey mentioned, it's not that Nintendo is opening up to a broader audience, a more mature audience with the puff and stuff like that. but it's just that it gives Nintendo greater opportunity to branch out. So, I mean, it's a win-win across the board. So I can't knock that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, fun fact, Resident Evil 4 is probably, I think they said that it's the most ported game that's come out because it was out on the GameCube, PlayStation 2, Wii, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, Xbox, Xbox One, 360, PC, now Switch. That's like 10 times. That's a lot.
That's a lot of times.
That's a lot. Kink, what about you, buddy? What are your thoughts on this, on the Switch with the Resident Evil and how, we're getting better games for that console now?
I think it's great. I think Nintendo is making a smart move by letting them in there, or Resident Evil is also, Capcom is also making a smart move to kind of join forces in a way, in a small part. They're not actually joining forces. They're just as we've discussed already, it's just opening up to a larger audience of people. And to a whole lot of people who have never even touched them. Like, as I was saying with my Resident Evil experience, I had a hard time playing the older version because it just graphically was not appealing to me. I mean, and it isn't in today's terms. So you have to appreciate it on a different level to play through the really old games that like Resident Evil. Like, you can go 8-bit and go fine, pretty much no matter the quality on 8-bit. But when it comes to 3Ds, it's either has to be it's an acquired taste, or you have to enjoy the game has to be really good. Mario 64 or GoldenEye 007, still fantastic games to this day, even though they're graphically not all that great. I mean, they're actually pretty great graphically, thinking about it, like, for their time. But anywho, it's a great move for them, and they're gonna open up the market to a whole bunch of things, because the Switch console itself is just an easier console to use compared to the other consoles by a long shot, because Sony has the market cornered on awesome exclusives. Like, nobody beats PlayStation and super duper awesome, amazing exclusive games. On that note, it was really surprising to find out that Sony is actually doing cross-platform, which they've been able to do for since the beginning of gaming, and they just didn't because of money.
Sony was like the first to do platform gaming. I just want to let y'all know that.
They
were.
I didn't even know
They
it.
really were.
That's crazy.
They did Rocket League cross with PC. They did Final Fantasy 11 and 14 cross with PC. I think a few other games. Technically, they were the first.
I see. But I meant
But they weren't doing console. But they were the first to do cross-platform. I'm just saying.
That's crazy. Well, I mean, we can go way earlier than that. Like, they could do the ability to do a successful cross-platform was all the way since the internet connection even existed. Ever since, what was it? PlayStation 3 is probably the generation when it got really, so Xbox was that 360 and a PlayStation 3, where internet gaming became much bigger.
Yep.
Yeah, they've been able to do crossplay since then. They just didn't because they wanted to corner the market on money. But Fortnite forced them to to kind of open up there, which is really great. But yeah, them Switch opening up is going to make them a lot of money. PlayStation was forced to realize that they had to open up to make more money as well. Because Switch is gonna, it's hard to beat the Switch. It's not the most powerful system, but dang, it's convenient.
Yeah. Yep. What about you, Dino?
More games, the better. The mature audience for the Switch is definitely going to help out a lot. For Nintendo, obviously we all know what Nintendo is. Nintendo's huge, but they do a lot of other things behind the scenes, and you can definitely see that Nintendo's always broadening. So getting some Resident Evil, getting some, not just Capcom, but other companies get involved within the Switch, and seeing how that plays. Nintendo is just doing a lot of things, and their marketing for this is incredible. So I definitely got to give props to Nintendo on there, and the mature games is definitely going to help. So some people were like, oh well, it doesn't really belong on Nintendo, like why is it there? Why doesn't it? We see Nintendo always broadening up. I mean, maybe we'll talk about it, I don't know, in a little bit, but like esports, for example, you see Nintendo branching out to esports. They're branching out to theme parks. They're doing a lot of other things, and I think this is a good thing for Nintendo. So definitely some awesome stuff happening, and in the future too.
For sure, big future coming ahead. Chadley, what about you?
I pretty much agree. The same. Like, the more games, the better.
Mhm.
I don't think, yes, Nintendo's been kind of pegged as this family-friendly console, and I think that's mainly because of the Wii. They really put themselves in a position where it's like, hey, on the Wii, we wanted to try to attract a new group of people, but at the same time, the hardware put them in a bad spot because no companies wanted to, like, the core gamer was lost with that system pretty much, and they didn't want to bring the more mature games, because I was trying to think about it, but if you think about it, like, the older consoles had mature games on them, 8-bit, like Friday the 13th, even though that game is an 8-bit game, doesn't really have much going on. I mean, it's mature themed because it's Friday the 13th. I mean, so if you think about it, like, Nintendo has always had mature games on their consoles. It's just that, like, the Wii really pushed, like, family-friendly gaming, like, because, like, hey, you can play these awesome games with your family and be very interactive with each other and all that kind of stuff. There you go, Veg. But, like, GameCube had the remaster of the first remaster of Resident Evil. So, like, there's always been mature games on Nintendo, but I think it's just they put themselves in a bad spot where nobody wanted to put their mature games on Nintendo because they weren't selling. Like, the Wii U has mature games on it, but not many, because developers knew that the Wii U wasn't selling. So now that the Switch is selling like hotcakes, and Nintendo is like has all this opportunity for developers to finally come to their platform and give them mature games to put on their platform, like, I think that's where people are starting to say, like, oh, it doesn't belong on Nintendo because they're family friendly. It's like, they're not completely family friendly if you think about it. It's just that they've never had the opportunity like they do now to be able to reach out to all gamers instead of just certain niches.
Yep. No, I agree. Like, I'm happy that they're bringing. Probably not gonna buy it because I have the games already for the PC, for the PlayStation, the originals. So there's no real need for me to get them. But that being said, I mean, I'm a big fan of Resident Evil 1. I killed that game. I played it over and over again so many times. And I mean, to do it on the go, it's a nice, different type feel to it. As for maturity, I mean, there are a lot of games that have come out lately that are mature, and I agree with you, Chadley. If they would have sold well on the Wii U, for example, we probably would have gotten a lot more games on there. We probably would have had a lot more games. Not to mention, I mean, again, people thought the Wii U was just an extra peripheral to the Wii. They didn't even know it was a new console. So, good one, Nintendo. But, again, it's nice to see them branching out that way, that a lot of developers are now saying, hey, let us develop for your console. Even though it's not the strongest console, but they're seeing that people want games on there. And they'll take anything, and they're selling like hotcakes, like you said, Chadley. So, yeah, definitely. Oh, definitely.
Can I just add one more thing real quick to that? To Resident Evil? Am I wrong? Doesn't the Switch already have, like, 2 Resident Evil games on it, by the way? The Revelations games?
I think so.
Yeah, so like these aren't even their first Switch Resident Evil games.
Yeah, I don't think they are.
Just
I know on the Wii U they were there, but I'm not sure if
yeah,
they were.
I'm pretty sure they added the collection. Yeah, like Crispy said, Revelations 1 and 2 on there. Yep. Okay, I just making sure because I mean this isn't so essentially this isn't anything really new even for the Switch. This is just a couple of games that people have basically they want on there and all, but I mean it's not like it's new for them to have Resident Evil on.
Well, the thing was like Revelations was a Wii U thing, and it didn't sell good. Never mind that it was on a 3DS. Never mind that. So the fact that they were bringing them out for the Switch, everybody knew about that, but we never heard anything about another Resident Evil being made for it.
Well,
right?
I guess I'm just getting on the fact that we were talking about how revolutionary it is for them to bring these Resident Evil games to the Switch, these mature games, when they already have them on there. You know what I mean? Is I just kind of throwing out there for food for thought.
Okay, so going on what Dino was saying, so Nintendo's looking at developing a theme park at Universal Studios in Florida. I know they have something in Japan, I believe, but what do you guys thought about that? Nintendo making their own little section, I guess you could say. So, what do you think, Mr. Corey?
I think it's cool. I haven't really heard much about it, other than the initial, hey, they're talking about making a theme park in Universal. I heard that a little while back, and really all I have on it. But I'm excited for it, and I don't live that far from Universal. It's only about a 10 to 11 hour drive for me to get there.
We're going to Nintendo Land.
But yeah, so something I'd like to check out.
Yeah, for
That's really
sure.
all I have on it.
Oh, you, Venge?
First off, Corey, I'm Jelly Donut with cheese. Jelly Donuts with cheese, because you get to go.
But you get to go.
but it's so not so far from you. But you know what? Once again, Nintendo, we got ourselves a
hey, donation from Paul. Everybody hashtag Paul in the chat. Thanks, Paul.
Give me a moment. I'll be
just
right back.
want to say this group of people are
Set
amazing.
the rotation and I'll answer it. I have to check something.
All right. Kink, what are your thoughts on this theme park?
That's an interesting idea. This is the first time hearing of it. But yeah, no, that's a pretty great idea. Disney is not gonna be happy with that. Wait, who owns Disney again?
Know?
Wait, who owns Disney now again? Or Disney now owns I'm thinking of it backwards. Disney owns Star Wars. I was thinking for some reason that something owned Disney, and no, it was the other way around. Disney owns Star Wars now. Okay, so yeah, no, Disney is going to be pretty upset about them encroaching on their theme park thing, but that's going to be that Disney owns Disney. Exactly, Ryan. Exactly. It would be really cool. It might actually do them a lot better than Disney could, because Disney has Disney characters to pull from.
Yeah.
But Nintendo has Nintendo characters to pull from.
Yeah, for
which
sure.
Are far more iconic in a lot of different ways to different group of people. Like there's like gamers, a lot of gamers find Mario far more iconic than Aladdin, or
you bite your tongue, sir. I can show you the world.
I can show you the world.
I can show you the world.
That's funny.
Oh man, that's hilarious. But yeah, no, and then like they can do a lot of great things. As you guys were talking, I was trying to think of like what rides would they do? Like
Mario Kart. That's really all we need.
Mario Kart. Well, that's an obvious one where they're gonna
all you need.
They can do several versions of Mario Kart inside, like for bumper cars, but then like I'm trying to think
from Donkey Kong.
Mine carts from Donkey Kong. That would be fantastic for a roller coaster. Now you're thinking, but I was all thinking like you mentioned Wind Waker earlier, Chadley, about the whole riding the boat, and that's the only thing I could like think of for a ride is a boring boat ride, which is not good at all.
It'd be just like the game.
You just like the game.
Exactly. You'd be going in and be like, wow, this is exactly like the game. Can I get off, please?
That's what I wanted to do with the game too.
Oh man, you would be like wishing that there was some way to speed it up, but no, like because like they would have to think outside the box for all their amusement rides.
They
Like,
charge $60 per game. I mean, per ride. You know, per themed ride.
right?
And you'd have to pay extra to get the rest. Oh wait, it's not EA. Sorry, guys.
Well, I mean, like, what could they like? I'm trying to think of other things that they could even do for like amusement rides. I can't even think. Like, could they make a person feel like they're 2D or something? You know?
Paper Mario. What?
Paper Mario Land. what about you, Dino? What are your thoughts on Nintendo doing a theme park?
Great. I mean, this is going to give another opportunity for somebody to check out a theme park that they will look forward to. I think there's gamers that, you know, Disney is a cool place, but, you know, they'll probably gravitate towards the Nintendo, you know, theme park. So that's how that's going to play out. And, you know, again, as mentioned, Disney's not going to be happy about that. And I still think it's clean competition. Also, it could benefit because now a lot more people could go in those locations who are more willing to go in those locations because, hey, we got this theme park, but look, we've got another one too. We've got one from Nintendo and we've got one for Disney. So you can look at it like that too. There's a lot of different outlooks for that. But the main thing is like what kind of rides will be on it. Like one thing that I'm thinking of is you can look at like Super Mario World or Super Mario Bros. 3 and you can take aspects from all these games and put it in a theme park. And that's something that I think they do. They put aspects a little bit from all these types of games, stuff that we know of, stuff that's very iconic, and I think that they would put that in a theme park.
Yeah,
and that's just something that's going to get people to want to go to these theme parks. And I honestly think it's going to be such an amazing move if they do this. And again, it looks like they are. So from what I've seen.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Chadley? What are your thoughts on this theme park?
Oh, I think it'll be awesome. I mean, Nintendo and Universal teaming up to do this is going to be, I mean, it's going to be awesome. I know that they broke ground in Japan, so we already know that it's being built in Japan. We don't know when it's coming to Florida yet, like, so we don't know when it's coming stateside. They want to finish the one in Japan first because they want to, I think what they're trying to do is because it's, because the Olympics are in Tokyo next. And what they want to do is have this portion of Universal Studios done before the Olympics because it would be like a great attraction for all the tourists coming in from doing the Olympics and everything. The only ride that I know of that they've really pushed so far is Mario Kart. They haven't really said much about it, but like I don't know, like it could be pretty cool. Like, and I've seen some of the 3D renderings of what their idea is of what the world is going to look like. It seems like they're going to have like this whole like Bowser Castle type entrance to like one of the areas, and they're going to be using the Mario pipes as like ways to like go from area to area. So like it's kind of really cool, like having that concept of like when you play Mario, you go through a pipe, you end up in like usually you end up in an area that looks different from where you came from. So like overworld, underworld, like all that kind of stuff. So like if they put those kinds of cool ideas into the world, I think it would make it, just walking around would be an awesome experience.
It make people want to buy more games.
Yeah.
Like just walking around through that, like no joke, like it would help the marketing of that. And I think that they have a very big plan altogether for that stuff. So.
And the fact that they have Harry Potter there too at Universal.
Yeah,
so like you put both of those together, like Harry Potter, even though the movies came out like it's a while now, like because all the kid actors, they're all grown up now. Like those movies are not new anymore, and the books are even older, but yet their popularity is still way high with all ages. And having Harry Potter and Mario in like the same park is like, I don't know, it seems like it would attract a lot of people to go to Universal, especially to experience Nintendo's first amusement park type
Yep.
attraction. So
Oh, for sure, for sure. Now I want to binge watch all the Harry Potter. All right. So there's some rumors that come out that there are new characters that are supposed to be coming out for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. They were apparently leaked. So what are you guys' thoughts on these new characters, and could this be true? So they're saying, for example, Shadow, Banjo-Kazooie, Ken, and Gino, and Course Kids were all, I guess, shown. But what are your thoughts? Do you think there really are some new characters coming out for Smash? Do you think it's just some guys, saying they wish that this is what's happening? And I mean, could this be maybe something they've been hiding for and not releasing to raise up the hype more? So go ahead, Corey. I can tell that face that you have a lot to say.
I was trying to avoid leaks, and you with a single text file ruined that. I'm just gonna throw that out there, Rigo. It doesn't really matter to me. I was trying to avoid the leaks, but it's not that big of a deal. I actually read up a little bit on the leak itself.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to avoid the actual characters just because I didn't really want to know. I do think it holds a little bit of merit that they could be real because of the circumstances surrounding the leak itself. I'm not gonna say yeah, it's definitely real, but the people were explaining that where this came from was a print from a company that actually is known for working for Konami. I think it's Konami, right? No, Bandai Namco. I'm sorry. And who is working with Nintendo on Smash Bros, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so people were saying that since this company is known for working with them already, that this very well could be, legit.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense to me, but I'm still not saying I believe it 100%. But as far as the characters, I mean, Shadow's not that hard to believe because we've already got Sonic. We're talking about Shadow the Hedgehog, right?
Yep, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Okay, just make sure. Because I'm sitting there thinking of any other Shadows. I don't think that's a hard thing to believe. He would be an Echo Fighter, though, I think, Venge, honestly. I don't want him to be, but I feel like he would. Banjo-Kazooie, I could see again because Duck Hunt Dog. I feel I get that same kind of feel.
Oh, no.
I'm not saying Echo Fighter, but I could see it, Isaac, I guess. Isaac from, we're talking from Golden Sun, right?
I believe so. I'm going to say yes.
Like to see that. I'd like to see that. Ken, easy Echo Fighter.
Easy,
absolutely
yeah.
Most obvious Echo Fighter out there. Mach Rider. I don't know where Mach Rider comes from in the sense of why he's connected. I know what Mach Rider was, the show, but I don't know how he's connected, so I have no nothing to say yay or nay on that one.
Yeah.
Gino, Nintendo has a good relationship with Square Enix again. I could see Gino coming into it based on that solely. I could see it's not a no automatically because of that.
Yeah.
And then Course Kids. What are Course Kids from? I don't even know.
That one I don't even know. I was gonna ask you.
See, I got nothing on Course Kids, but I mean, for each of the characters, like I said, I mean, they're not too far off and hard to believe that those characters would be in here.
Mm.
Except for, like I said, Mach Rider. I don't really know where he comes into connection here.
Yeah.
But yeah. My thoughts.
Benj, what about you, buddy? What are your thoughts?
Obviously, the more characters, the better. But I'm sorry,
you don't want those Echo Fighters.
I'm looking at Shadow and Ken right. Out of those two, I'm hoping heck they're not Echo. But if that's the reality of it, it is what it is. I can't imagine freaking Ken doing the reuse freaking donkey kick. Okay, I can't. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see. I want to at least see Shadow do some of his famous close hand combat. I could care less about the gun if that's where you guys going to go with that. But he has some cool hand-to-hand skills, especially since he was the original of Chaos Control. I want that.
That'd be his final smash.
I don't want no Echo Fighter for Shadow. No. I am going to pout like a child.
Pout like a child.
I gotta make sure to be at that stream. Let me know, man.
Dang.
Guys, don't forget to hit that like button. We are at 67. Let's reach that 70 likes.
But it's still hype.
Yeah,
I mean, because the cool thing about Echo characters, even if they are Echo, I mean, they add different animations and actual voices and all.
Yeah.
So it's not a complete reskin. So I don't give them that. I'm done.
I'd like to believe that now that they're calling them Echo Fighters, I'd like to believe that they're going to differentiate them just a little bit more from each other. You know, like not a whole different character, but like a little bit of. They're not going to be like an exact clone, in my opinion.
Please give me the flame Shoryuken for Ken. If I don't get that, I'm gonna flip so many tables. I would buy tables to flip them.
You would buy tape. What about you, Kink? What are your thoughts on this? I know you were saying that there's not much you can say about Smash, but just your thoughts of these characters coming into play.
Well, I did play the original Smash. I played a lot of the original Smash games. Smash game for sure. just the one. None since. Yeah, I've seen a lot on the Smash, and their whole idea is to like every new installment, the idea is to bring in everybody you want to see. Like that's like their goal in everything. They keep on trying to. A couple of people that they don't bring in, and I don't know why. I mean, he's been like super requested, but they probably won't put him in. Is the Waluigi, and then Banjo-Kazooie is a fantastic addition. Everybody loves Banjo-Kazooie for sure. Yeah. Like it's just such a classic. You just can't Banjo-Kazooie is a great addition that they'll probably add, and they might the only one that they might not is the only one who might not be ever put in there is Waluigi. They might do it just out of spite to never put Waluigi in there.
Yeah.
So many people have been wanting it for so long. But like they could do a whole lot of different ones. Does like what would be a fantastic, I don't know. That question is asked all the time. Who should be in there? But I don't know. That it definitely have to put in the most iconic of all the characters for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Dino, what are your thoughts, man?
The likelihood that this is a thing is probably going to be a thing, because usually when these leaks are coming, especially from like Bandai Namco or something like that, like people who are like sources of that, that can actually be a thing. But like looking at this list, I mean, Banjo-Kazooie, I for sure would see that in the game, and I think it would be a very interesting character to play with. You got Ken, who's going to be interesting as well, but with Ken, I hope that they make it a little bit different than Ryu.
Yeah.
Because if they don't make it different than Ryu, because in the Street Fighter games and the older ones, we see Ken with like the same moveset as Ryu. It's almost identical. There's just a little bit of differences. But like in Street Fighter V, they made him a lot different. So now I'm hoping in this Smash game, Ken will be a lot different than Ryu if he were to join the game. So that would be pretty cool. We see Isaac Shadow. I see like all these characters I could definitely see in. I don't know anything about Chorus Kids. But other than that, I mean, all these.
Does anyone?
So yeah, I have no clue what that is.
I kind of looked them up. They're like these weird little characters. There's 3 of them, and they're these weird little white characters that kind of fight together, almost like Pikmin, just white.
Where are they from?
Looks like a 3DS game.
Just anyone in chat now? I'm curious.
Yeah, now I'm kind of curious, but it looks like they're from. But yeah, they're 3 little characters.
Yeah.
What?
Uh-oh.
What just happened?
All right.
Okay.
Your video's gone.
Yeah, I see that. All of my Discord closed and restarted itself. Continue along.
All right. What do you? Okay, so keep going, Dino.
The chorus kids or whatever. Did you figure that out?
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. Somebody said something about Rhythm Heaven.
Yeah, Rhythm Heaven on 3DS, I think.
Oh, okay.
So they sing.
I
Apparently.
mean, other than that, I mean, all these characters seem solid, but we'll kind of see if it's real or not. And, like, from what I've seen, a lot of these rumors recently for a lot of stuff have come to be true, and then there's obviously a few that don't. But you never know. We could have this list and like one of these don't make it, but then you may see them later on. Like, you never know, kind of thing. So. But in terms of like Smash in general, I think we got a huge cast, and it's tough to figure out who else would be added to this cast. So this is a very interesting list that honestly I didn't think about too much into who I would add in Smash overall.
Yeah, for sure. Sadly, what do you think, buddy?
I was with Corey. Like, I was trying to avoid any type of additional information unless it was coming from a Nintendo Direct. Because I didn't want to have anything ruined, because they already have so many characters announced, and I was hoping that they would have some characters that they might surprise people with. Like, you put them in the game, you don't mention anything about them, and then like it would be a nice surprise to have characters that you have no idea that were put into the game. Shadow, yeah, I mean, Shadow would be a cool character to have. Ken would be a cool character to have. Banjo-Kazooie, Isaac, like all those characters would be cool to have in the game, but maybe Chorus Kids not so much. But but just from the little bit that I saw, I was like, why? I mean, why? But why? Yeah. But I mean, they have so many characters now. It's like, if this is fake, it's not like you're not missing out on anything if these characters are not really characters meant to be put in the game. So yeah, so I don't know much about the leak other than, like Corey said, this is the first I've seen of the list of characters that were leaked. Yeah. But yeah, so
they're pretty believable though.
It's believable, yeah, for sure.
For sure, yeah.
And I'm totally excited for the game, but yeah, they already have how many characters? It's like over 60 some characters in the game.
Yeah, they have a lot.
Yes, so
there you go.
I think they're aiming for 100.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Everyone is here.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like I was trying to avoid leaks too, but sometimes there's always that one that catches your eye, and I wanted to add it just because. That's right. If I go down, you all go down. When I saw Gino, Banjo, and Ken, I was like, this could be it. I mean, I don't know. I'm really excited. Again, I hope that Ken is its own character. Like I know what Dino was saying about number 5. He is different. He feels different. It's not like 1 or 2 or 3 or Alpha or that where they're the same. The only difference was that Ken was faster than Ryu. So hopefully it is something different. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they turn around and said Echo Fighter. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But yeah, so I mean, I'm trying not to look into too much of the characters, but it's kind of hard sometimes because they throw it right in your face. So this is a funny one that I read about. So Nintendo puts a patent out for a playable Game Boy phone case. What are you guys' thoughts on that, and would you pick it up? Corey, what do you think, buddy?
Probably not, because they're not going to support an iPhone, I'm sure. It'll be Android only. So actually, fun fact, there's something like this already exists. I say something like that. I don't actually have any real idea of what you're talking about. So I'm gonna base this off of something that I saw in the past, not too long ago, which could potentially be something similar. There is a case that's shaped like a Game Boy that you slide your Android phone into, because it's only Android, and it locks in and everything, and then there's a cartridge slot for Game Boy in the back.
Oh.
But what that actually does is then you open up software on your phone, which is an emulator essentially, and it stores the game, it stores a ROM of the game in RAM on your phone, and you play it off of there.
Okay.
Yeah, Hyperkin actually. That's Daddy Gamer. That's Hyperkin. That is the one that I'm talking about, right? So when I think of what you mentioned, that's like all I can think of is, how else would you really do that? And if that's the case, though, it won't happen on iPhones, period. Yeah. Because you would only be able to. You can't play emulators and stuff on an iPhone without without modding, without hacking your phone, without jailbreaking your iPhone.
Yeah.
So it really just wouldn't be something you could do unless they managed to get Apple to approve something like that, which they're not. So would I pick one up for usability? No. Would I pick one up for collector's sake? Maybe, but probably not. I think it's pretty cool though, but I just don't think it would happen on iPhones.
Yeah, for sure. Benj, what are your thoughts on it, buddy?
I don't know. That is very odd. I've never heard of such a thing in my life. But it sounds rather interesting, to be honest. I mean, if they can prove that this is going to look, that it's not just going to look good on paper, and it performs well, or then it's fine, because I don't want it to blow up in my pants, and no,
what to blow up?
We're talking about phones, right?
Good analogy, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just making sure we're talking about phones.
Yeah, it's just funny that I don't want it to blow up my pants.
I just pulled it. I just looked this up real quick. Sausage. The patent describes it as a cover that is removably attached to electronic equipment having a touchscreen, which means that there's no way this is going to be an iPhone case, because again, it'll be controlling software on your phone.
Yeah.
Which means it definitely won't be. They're not going to be able to put emulators and stuff and let you play them like that on your iPhone. Anyway, sorry, go
on. I guess as long as it's not going to set me on fire, then I'm good. That's about all I could say, because that's very unorthodox. Boy, oh boy. The moment they told me that the phones that I was thinking about buying could potentially explode in my pants.
What about you, Kink? What are your ideas about this case?
I think it will definitely, as they've been doing, expanding their markets. They're trying to get more people interested in the handheld gaming market. I mean, they got people with the Switch, but now they're trying to get even more people. They're trying to get everybody with a phone, which is far more people that have a Switch, or even let alone a computer. So many more people have a phone than they have a computer or even a console.
Very true.
All that stuff is luxury compared to a phone nowadays.
Yeah.
But people wanted to look at what are the most popular games out there. They're not, the most popular game is not Fortnite. It's like Candy Crush and Farmville.
Yeah.
Because they're far more played. I mean, they're played more casually, but played by a lot more people all at the same time, because it's that casual game market. And when you reach into the phone gaming territory, when you reach into the phone territory, you're reaching into that casual gaming market. And if you're as long as they have some sort of emulation in it that's already there. And yeah, you're right about iPhone, but then again, they are Nintendo, so they could somehow pay Apple. I don't know how that'll work out, but definitely
they could make their own. I mean, if they release their own full-on app versions of Pokemon or something like that, I could see that, because they are releasing mobile apps now. So if they decided to go that route, then I could see it. But otherwise, if they're just but I can't see Nintendo putting out a peripheral that's meant specifically for emulators either. So maybe I'm just all wrong on that.
Well, no. I think you're absolutely right that they're gonna have to add the cartridge in there. But in today's modern world, it's moving less off the cartridges and more into the digital realm. Just because it's easier to transfer all the stuff. But you're right. They're definitely gonna have to add in at least a version that allows for the full cartridge of a Game Boy game or game. What are all the cartridges? There's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, for sure. Dino, what do you think, buddy? What are your thoughts on this?
This is going to be pretty good, especially for the people with phones, because as said, like there's who doesn't have a phone?
Yeah,
who doesn't? So people who have a phone are going to be interested in wanting this because not everyone has a console. Not everyone looks through apps. Some people are even scared to download an app because they don't know what the heck they're downloading. So you have to keep that in mind too, because not everyone's going to download an app. They don't know much about it. Something that's brand new, they probably don't want to take a chance. But if they see a phone case that has like a Game Boy compatible kind of thing, people are going to go on that. Because here's another thing too. People aren't able to play games or stuff at school, or if they don't have like access to like a console or something over there, or they don't feel like playing like a normal game that they find on their phone or whatever they downloaded. Maybe they prefer a Nintendo based game, so that would exclude all that. So then people would want to buy something like a phone case, so they don't have to play things that they don't see themselves interested as opposed to this. So I think it's a good idea, and Nintendo's kind of like dipping in to even more people, and you can definitely tell that what they're trying to do is get people to use these phone cases and then look more into their other products too. So everything that they're doing, like the theme parks, like every single thing that they're doing, they are catering to all these age groups, and then all these people that have specific things too. So like they are definitely getting into that thing where it's like advertising the other thing. This will advertise this will advertise that. But overall, it's advertising Nintendo as a whole. So I think it's a smart play by Nintendo. But again, we'll have to see the price on this if this were to be a thing, because the price is gonna help. If it's cheap, people are gonna buy it, and then that's gonna help with advertising on other stuff too. So,
I agree with you.
That's my take on it.
Charlie, what about you, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an interesting concept. Like, I could see easily that Nintendo will come out with this case, and the only way I could see it working on Apple device is if they actually came out with like a licensed app that would load on the phone through the store, maybe through like a download code or something that you would get with the case, so that people they could make the app free, but they could also build this case so that it has to be there with your phone. Like your phone has to be able to detect the case. Obviously, it's going to have some kind of technology like Bluetooth or hooked in through a cable, or maybe the phone just plugs into a port at the bottom. Like it has to have that anyway. So like, I guess the app could just be a free download. It just wouldn't work without the peripheral. But like having the ability to play the original cartridges on your phone would be cool, and it would be something that's licensed by Nintendo. So they're going to try their hardest to make it work the best way possible. Having their own emulated software that could run on the phone would just give people more hope that it'll run flawlessly. So yeah, I mean, it seems like a really cool concept. I mean, we already know that Nintendo is branching out onto the mobile market a lot lately, and this is just, I think, another good step for them to be able to like maybe figure out a way to have like a mobile version of their eShop. And this maybe is their direction for Virtual Console as opposed to the Switch. Like we know they have their own direction with the Switch now. What they're going to try to do with retro games, they're going to try and see if this Nintendo online service is going to work, and hopefully they expand it to other consoles and not just stick with Nintendo like the original Nintendo system, because I think that's just going to get stale real quick. But this could be another way for them to like introduce those classic games to a whole new audience. And it's with your phone. It's not like you have to go and buy a Game Boy or buy a 3DS or something just to play these classic games on the go.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I mean, I know I'm definitely one of those guys who I don't play games on my phone. I don't purchase games on my phone. But if you're telling me that I'm gonna be able to play a Game Boy, which like even now I always get the urge, I want to play a Game Boy, and I do look for any way to play them. I think I would buy it, especially if I know, like, for let's take an example, a very popular game, let's say Pokemon. If I know that I can get Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Green, all that using this new peripheral, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'll probably pick it up, you know, because it's an interesting concept. And it's like you guys have been saying. I mean, phones, everybody has one. Everybody has one, from their grandmother to, you know, their brother and sister. Everybody has one, and it's a nice area to jump into. Hopefully, there's a way that, you know, it can't be just one of those things where you download the app and it's actually just an app, that you actually need this case and it actually will work, and without it you cannot play. I mean, it'd be nice to do it with just the app, but at the same time it'd be nice to use this peripheral and have better connectivity and all that stuff. But I mean, I'm not excited, but it sounds nice. It sounds like a good idea on paper. Hopefully they figure out a way to do it, you know.
I mean, they're trying to make Nintendo a lifestyle. We can definitely see that.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
Like, it's not just Nintendo, it's more like Nintendo in your life all the time. We're trying to make it almost like a 24/7 thing.
Yep.
So
or this peripheral, that, like, I just thought of this, they could make this peripheral be something similar to like what they did with those wireless Nintendo controllers. Say they come out with an app for your phone where you can download, you can pay and download classic Game Boy games on your phone, and you could still play them on your phone, and the controls would be like the virtual, like, stuff we're used to, where you have to actually touch your screen to operate the games in almost like a weird way. I never could get used to playing those kind of games. I don't see how people even enjoy playing Fortnite on a phone because of how the controls are. But if they come out with this peripheral with the added ability to play original cartridges, I think would just be a added bonus. And but the main focus would be, hey, we got this new app that we're bringing to the phone, allows you to play all these retro Game Boy games for a reasonable cost, is the key word there.
Yep.
And then, but we also have this peripheral that if you just happen to have a collection of old games and you want to be able to play it, or even if you don't, you could just buy the peripheral and you'll have that classic feel of the buttons, the D-pad, and all that stuff just by buying this case, and you'll still be able to play the games, but it'll be a more realistic representation of Game Boy, I guess.
No,
so they could go that way. They could go that way with it too.
Yep.
So
for sure. Okay, we're on basically the last question, guys. Viewers, if you have any questions you want to ask us, please feel free. Make sure you ping any of us, put your question down, and we will answer them at the end. Okay, so this is a new thing that I've been watching and hearing Kink talk about it. I don't know much about it. I don't know if you guys do. Alternate reality game, so ARG. What are your thoughts on this? And is this a good way of basically doing co-op play, I guess you could say, or involving your community on stream when it comes to this? So Kink, if you want to explain it a little bit more in depth now that we're live, and then that way we can kind of understand it.
Yeah, sure. There are a bunch of ARGs out there, but there's one that's huge, that's going, two actually that are huge that are going on right now. Like in Fortnite, for example, there's an ARG going on where and what it means is, like, the developers of Fortnite put random things from the game in real life in random places. Like in Paris, somebody came across a loot llama, and just a random real life loot llama, and they found them in different places. The developers never mentioned this. And then like during the whole segment of in between the seasons, they like the big derp head, you know, I think that's Dirt Burger, I think is what it's called, right? This is the burger with the tongue sticking out. They actually put that real life head inside the desert in the middle of nowhere and didn't tell anybody. And then somebody came across it and saw it, and you know, that's what this is. And in that so like you able to find things in real clues about the game in real life for it. So back to what the main one that's going on right now is Game Theory. In Game Theory's channel, they have an art going on where in their videos you have to find, like, there'll be little hidden clues, like, you know, a Morse code message or a binary code message or some sort of variation of a whole bunch of different kinds of code, like you might have to analyze the sound spectrogram, which will give you a code like that's in the first gate of this last one of the previous game here. What we had to do was we watched a video of Game Theories, and then in there we dissected the video via a video editor to pull out numbers, which turned out to be hex code, which led us to a website. That website led us to a code that told us the channel name of YouTube channel name, and then we had to input all this code together to get us another URL, which led us to another picture that was wrong. So we had to go back and we had to put in another URL after editing a video, editing an image to be different, and then it led us all, and it just leads you all to page at the end. And at the end of this is going to be the first people get merch, but I think it's a lot of fun to just play and do the real life things like video editing, image editing, audio editing. All that stuff is just so much fun to do. Anyway, that's what the current ARG is.
Awesome. Okay, so what are your thoughts, Corey, on this? You're muted.
I was just testing you guys and you passed. I think they're really cool. I think that when they're done well, they are really cool. Actually, even when they're not done all that well, the concept behind them is pretty darn cool. For instance, Destiny 1 had a few times where they did ARG, where Bungie actually did some ARG. And one of those was for gosh, what was the big expansion they did for Destiny 1? Anyways, it had if you bought the collector's edition, there was a little book that came with it for the expansion, not for like the game itself. There was a little book that came with it that had clues in it that nobody was told anything about. And when you solve that clue or whatever, it actually led to a quest for an exotic weapon that you could only get if you knew something about that clue first. And you know, the whole concept of ARG is that typically it's meant for like more than just one person to like really kind of help out and get, like Kink was saying with the like in different locations, you know, different people find something and nobody really knew about it, but it was just kind of there. So I think ARG is really cool when executed well, but even when it's not executed all that well, like the concept is really cool that you're involving the community as a whole.
Yeah, and it's really important. Like as I was saying, you need a video editor, image editor, sound editor. Like as content creators, we kind of have that all that kind of stuff dealt with a little bit. But like but generally you want a lot communication. You want a whole bunch of a whole team of people doing this.
Yeah,
sorry,
for sure.
Yeah, but he's right. I mean, I like that it involves the community as a whole. You know, so whether going to different locations or whether it's just different clues on the internet or whatever, and you know, people just kind of come together and find these things without even realizing that they're coming together and doing this. So it's really neat in my opinion. Except when it's silly stuff like people. Never mind. I'm not gonna get into that particular topic.
What about you, Venge? What are your thoughts on this?
That's
You look more confused than anything.
well, I'm really trying to think this through, because like this is a very very unorthodox thing. I never heard of such a thing, but based on the explanation by Kink and what Corey mentioned, it almost sounds like, if you wanted to think of it in more layman terms, maybe I'm thinking this, but I'm thinking this sounds more like a live scavenger hunt kind of.
Except you're not given a list of items to look for.
Yeah. The next item you find leads you to the next item. Think of it more like National Treasure. Have you seen that movie? Think of those kind of scavenger hunt movies, but in real life.
But nobody knew. Like nobody's supposed to know about it. First, somebody discovers it and goes, "Wait a minute."
Exactly, just like in the movies. Exactly.
Well, yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So as weird as this is, that is very interesting because it's like, what the word that I think of when I think of this is the way you express it. I found it very interesting because of the fact that it's more like a community building thing. Now, the question that I have for you, Kink, okay, you mentioned the use of video editors and all of that good stuff. Does everyone else have to have that too, or is it just that one person is getting it started?
Well, what the general idea behind it is that you have one person who's just good with image editing, one person who's good with sound, one person who's good with video, one person, and then a whole bunch of people all doing the thinking. But most of it is stuff that can be done. Most of the problem solving can be done with just a few clicks away on websites that are completely free to use. So and the majority of the time it's community. Like if they see something that that somebody else doesn't see, they're like, but I saw this there and you didn't quite catch that, or like I also translated this Morse code and it says this, or like one person tries a hex code and it's broken and it doesn't say anything, but another person tries a different kind of code on that. Not to use other kind of codes to confuse you guys.
No, for sure. As crazy as this is, it sounds really neat because of the fact that there's that togetherness there. Because like one of the things about it is, it's like it reiterates the whole importance of diversity, and how when it comes to the purpose of the internet, it's like bringing people from different locations together. You know how they say when it comes to like the online experience, the fact that none of us are literally in the same space is like there's no room or time to actually make judgments about the other person. And everyone has a common interest, and that common interest is what brings everyone together, which is a really cool thing about this ARC thing. So I find it really interesting based on that one fact alone. It's really, I like it.
For sure. What are your thoughts, Dino, on this?
Pretty interesting. I mean, I'm all for the community stuff. So when you got a game that can do the community stuff, got to go with it. Teamwork is obviously something that has worked with this. And with teamwork, having these types of skills is important. A lot of people like to, do things on their own, but when you have like a team and like a community of people working together to solve something together that, one could have missed and then they got it now because somebody explained it to them, stuff like that. Like everything that teamwork is all about is great to add in a game in general. So I do like this concept a lot, and if it's a good way to invent co-op play, for sure. I think this is a really good way to kind of dip into something that's a little bit different, and some people can, try something that they haven't really, expected from something like this that they expect from other games. So I think this just gives another avenue for people to try. So I think it's interesting.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Chadley?
So I obviously never heard of this term until today, but so I as we were talking here about it, I'm kind of looking into it a little bit, just seeing the history of it and stuff. And technically, it sounds like this has been around for some time. Like they've done this in TV, and I was listening to, or I was looking at some of the shows that they're listing off that actually used ARG to help with their shows and stuff, and it was like, oh yeah, it kind of makes sense when you realize that TV shows have been doing this for years. Like they had the TV show Heroes. They talk about the one company that was the one company called Primatech Paper. Apparently, NBC made a whole website about this, about Primatech Paper, and basically you would get text messages and emails which would lead, like, you would go through the website and you would go through like the whole employment process, and you would get text messages and emails about secret files about the show's characters and stuff. So like I didn't even remember, like I didn't even know at the time that that was ARG, but apparently that's a example of ARG. And they don't mention it here, but it made me think of when they did a website, when they did the website for Jurassic World, where they did like a full website on the company that bought Jurassic World to give you like more information about, like they almost made it seem like it's a real company in our world who bought Jurassic World, and it's like stuff like that I guess is also considered ARG, which kind of helps me understand what it is exactly. Like it's not just gaming that's doing it, but like other industries have already been doing it for years, and we may not even realize that they were doing it.
Yeah,
they did. Wayland Industries did that too, for one of the Alien. Or no, was it Predators? It was Alien versus Predator or Alien versus Predator 2, whatever. They did a whole website and everything dedicated to Wayland Industries. Isn't that what it's called, Wayland Industries? The people who paid for the expeditions and all, and
Even the show Lost had done a bunch of stuff like that too.
Yeah, so it's been around for a while.
So yeah. So, and again, I term until today, but now it makes a lot more sense when I realize that I've been pretty much seeing it everywhere.
yeah.
Like, so yeah, it's cool to see that it's kind of falling into our territory now too. So,
Oh, for sure. And like I didn't myself, like I'm with you, Charlie. I didn't really understand it until Kink brought it up, and that's why because he was like, oh, in chat. For those who don't know, we have our own little private chat beforehand, and we talk about ideas and all that stuff. And
so, it's supposed to be a secret, right?
So Kink had brought it up, and he was like, oh, but we can forget if you don't understand. But it intrigued me. I wanted to hear more about this, and I remember Kink doing streams about it. I just didn't understand what he was doing, right? Because I don't normally indulge in this, and I've watched him do it, but I didn't understand what he was doing. Now that he's explained it and everything, it makes you more interested and kind of peeking, like, okay, now I want to see where we're going with this every time Kink does it. Kink, I'm gonna watch you more now every time you do this. But yeah, it's an interesting it's an interesting concept, and it's nice that you can get, again, like Dino said, get your community involved, and you know what one person might not catch, another person will catch, and then this will lead you on to whatever the prize might be. So it's really cool. I really enjoy it, and I think it's something that I might have to indulge in a little bit more later in the future. But yeah, it's really cool. I really like it. All right, guys. Well, we're at the end now. We're looking at the viewer questions. Did anybody catch any viewer questions that I might have missed? I got a couple. I got one for Venge and one that was asked for me.
I got two questions. I got probably the one that was for you, the one that Steffi asked.
Yeah.
And then I got one from Blitz also.
Okay, so let's do the one from Blitz first, and then we can go on to the next one.
All right. So Blitz asked, "What do you guys think of GameStop's new Switch promo going on?" So I'll explain it because I don't know if you guys all know what it is.
Yeah,
but it's actually kind of funny. It's kind of hilarious actually, but it kind of makes sense. It's there's a special promo deal. I don't know the exact numbers or whatever, but it's basically trade in a Switch, and you get X amount of credit, but only applied to a new Switch. But it's going to apply to the bundles and stuff.
Okay.
So technically you'll be losing out on money, right? Of course. They'll give you like $150 or whatever it is. I mean, like I said, I don't know the number. And then to put that towards the new Switch bundle or something. So it makes sense to a point if you like have an original OG like we all have, but want a Smash bundle or something, but don't want to just buy a whole new one, right? Like you just don't want to outright. You're still going to lose money. It's a terrible deal just for the sake of getting, a picture on the front of it.
Yeah.
There's nothing special about it, right? So it's terrible like that. But if that's what your goal is, like if you want the new Smash one or the new Diablo one or something instead of the original, it's at least I'd call it an upgrade path, but it's not really an upgrade, but it's at least some way to help you do it. So what do I think of it? I think it's, again, kind of dumb, but also if you are in the market for a different one that you really want for some reason, if that's your goal, you really want that Diablo Switch because all you're just getting really, I think it's just the dock that's got like a decal or like engraved or whatever on it. So I don't even think it's
the back of the Switch. I think has a little,
oh, is the back? Okay,
I think the back of the Switch has a small engraving on it too.
Yeah, so I mean, if that's what you want, then it's at least a way to help you achieve that. And Blitz is probably right about that. Actually, it probably is a way to help recycle or remove some of the old the exploitable CPUs that they have out there, because all the new ones are not going to have that.
Yeah.
So that's actually probably a really good point, Blitz. But yeah, that's my thoughts. It's kind of dumb, but it's also useful if that's your goal.
It's
Ben,
also oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'll
Finish up.
make my comment when.
No, go ahead. You want to finish? Go ahead. It's not a big deal.
No, but we also are talking about GameStop here, so they're gonna take those they're gonna take those old systems, basically buy them from you for a discount, a large discount, turn around and resell them as used Switches at a nice profit. Yep. It's GameStop. Like, come on. Like, I don't see them returning them to Nintendo just to help Nintendo fix the exploit.
No,
we love you.
Nintendo needs the money.
They're not that broke.
Yeah. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted to say.
For sure. What are your thoughts, Benj?
Exactly what Chadley just said. Here's the thing, like when it comes to GameStop, now I will kind of like agree with what Effie said, where she said it would make more sense when the next version of Switch comes out.
For sure.
And so you have that, the aesthetic part of it, you're thinking about getting it anyway because aesthetics of it, and so you trade it in to get a new one. I get that. I can see that. But at the same time, like Chadley just mentioned, is GameStop. When it comes to GameStop, they always have that hidden agenda with what they do, because I lost count
I
on
wouldn't
the
even say it's
number of
hidden.
times that GameStop would try to scam me. Like, I'll never forget that day I asked for a game new. Now you think that they would be happy with you buying the game new because they don't have to they get more money.
They don't get more money. They get way more money off the used game, because when you think about it, they've paid $60 or whatever for a brand new game, but when they buy a used game from you for $10, they turn back and sell it for $30.
Right.
They're making a huge profit compared to the new stuff.
And yeah, that's like kind of like what I was right. Like they double their profit with those freaking used games. And so it's like they're always pushing for that used crap, and they thought they was slick. I said new. They was like, okay, we got you. Bet. I bought it full price, and my man said, you know what? I'm not even gonna leave this parking lot yet. I'm gonna check and make sure it's new. Wouldn't you know it? Freaking thing was used because they had that tape. The technology with that little circle tape, it's getting better because I couldn't see it. until I took a shine the light on it like CSI. bro.
CSI.
Yeah, I caught you. And I had to get in a grill. I was understand what you guys are doing. But if I say something, if I ask for something new, I expect it new, not this. Not this.
So here's one thing, just as a little inside info here. Technically speaking, just because it had that on there does not make it used, because they are forced to open many of the games, and then they resale them after to sell them as new. But a lot of times they are kind of scammers though, because and it's weird. It doesn't work in your favor or in their favor necessarily, but they do open new games and sell them as used at times too.
And that's where I got on them about that. I'm sorry, don't BS me with that. I'm like, once it's open, the new game smell is gone. It's now used. Sorry, take this back. Give me my money.
I have a buddy who is a manager over there, and he was telling me things like that, like how they are literally actually forced to open brand new games, so you can't even get a sealed game in many cases. Not every game, but depending on the game, they make them open all of them. Not even like one or two for display or something, but all of them. It's ridiculous.
For sure.
So to keep a long story short, I mean, if there's a reason for it, like if that person has a valid reason for doing it, like what Steffi said. I mean, if you wanted the new one anyway, why not, right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, exactly.
Yeah,
that's about it.
But it's still dumb. But at least it does offer you that sort of path. Well, I say upgrade loosely, but
yeah.
What are your thoughts, Kink?
It's a lot like the refurbishment of just well, not refurbishment, but just like the reuse of old things that we've been talking about, like most of the stream, like them just reusing old content, like with the Resident Evil remasters and things. It's just a remaster of the Switch once again, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just much like PlayStation put out their special editions and Xbox put out their special editions. If people want to get them, then for fanciness, I guess it's no different than somebody wanting to get the newest iPhone because it's the newest one, things like that.
For sure.
No, it is a little bit different though, actually. Because at least, and I can speak for the iPhone at least the iPhone has some kind of difference to it. Whereas we're talking, because we're talking about specifically when they're saying right now, basically you trade in a Switch and get a certain amount of credit, but only if applied to a Switch. Now, currently speaking, there is no technical upgrade for a Switch. You can get one that has like a different design on the back or whatever, but you don't get. There's no advantage to that. So it is a big difference than when you're talking about like say the PS4 Pro. You trade in a PS4 and get X amount of credit towards a PS4 Pro. That's at least a different version of it. That's not like literally saying a PlayStation, a black PlayStation versus a purple PlayStation or something.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was talking about. Is that like PlayStation does do versions that are just a different color and that are literally that's it. Is just a different color, special ones, like the Destiny white one.
But do you ever get specific trade values for the original console toward it?
I don't know. Maybe that's a thing that Nintendo is doing with GameStop to get them to, as you were saying before, get them to make more money by selling them as used for way more than what it would be normally for. Just getting people to trade in more products so that they can sell more stuff. Exactly.
Yeah, true.
What's your information on this, Dino?
Scam.
A scam.
That's all I can tell you. It's a
for
scam.
sure.
Don't do it, guys. Buy the original one. I'm done with GameStop.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
GameStop's a huge scam. Like they're always like that. They cheapen you. They do all that. Like do the math. Like you can do the math in anything. Anything, you'll find that they're scamming you too much.
Oh, for sure.
So
okay, like let's give an example. In our as everybody knows, here in Canada, it's a little bit more expensive to buy a game. You know, brand new games costing you $79.99. You add the tax in there, it's costing you $90. Okay, their used version of that game is costing you $79 after tax comes in. So technically, you're for $10 more or $20 more, whatever it is, you can still get a brand new one for $90 versus the $79, the $80 they're charging you. So yeah, like it doesn't their math, and then they're they give you the whole spiel of, hey, get the card and you get 5%, 10%, whatever it is discount. I haven't been to a GameStop or EB Games in our case in a long time. Since the last time I was in there was when I worked there, when I was the manager there. That was the last time I ever touched one, and even then it was good because like we got 35% off, and then sometimes like on Black Friday times we'd get the 25 on top of whatever they had the discount, so it was nice that way. But yeah, it's something I don't miss. They definitely scammers, hands down. Okay, so we got one here. We got a question here from Daddy Gamer. He said, along the lines as what Capcom's doing, should Konami follow suit by porting / remastering their classic games for newer platforms or invent new IPs? That's a pretty good question. I like that question. Okay, so go ahead, Corey. Don't forget to unmute.
I totally forgot I was muted, so I would have been talking again. That's actually a really good question. So, I mean, honestly, Konami has a lot of games that we got to experience, or maybe didn't, but many of us got to experience, in our younger times, right, in our younger ages, and a lot of people today just don't get to. So I think remastering and porting them is never a bad thing. Like when you're talking about stuff that is just really isn't generally available to get right now, right? Or very easily. So, I mean, I think Castlevania and things like that, Symphony of the Night, we've seen that on like everything these days. It's coming to PS4 and everything, or it's already on or whatever. But then you've got stuff like Super Castlevania 4 or whatever. Things like classic games like that many people younger than us are not going to get to experience because it's basically only on the Super Nintendo, or maybe it's on other stuff, but I don't know. So yeah, remastering and porting stuff would definitely be really cool if they, pick some of the classics, of course. But making new IPs isn't a bad thing either necessarily, as long as they come up with good stuff. But the remastering and the ports are like guaranteed money, printing money when you pick the right stuff. Like I said, like Castlevania games will sell like hotcakes.
Yeah,
like the older ones, not some of the newer ones. Like the older ones for sure, hotcakes. So yeah, I think it would be great to remaster them, port them, and bring them forward.
For sure. What about you, Venge? What's your idea on this?
So it's either one or the other.
Well, I mean, no. If they ported, if they got new, it's either one.
I obviously, like you guys were saying about ports.
You're cutting out bad.
I mean, like the the ports is definitely going to help a ton. But at the same time, considering the amount of damage that Konami caused by with the whole Kojima incident, I feel like that they're gonna have to do a lot more than just throw out ports to get back out there. They're really gonna have to push with new projects as well, just to help add on to the revenue. Because I know one game that I would really love to see ported would be Metal Gear Solid 2. Such an amazing experience that I will never ever forget. I knew nothing about the Metal Gear franchise, but when I heard about that game and it looked fairly interesting, because it was the kind of thing that I never heard of before, like stealth action back in those days, the PlayStation era. That was an amazing experience. That, especially that moment where you had to beat the boss by unplugging your controller and switching, and switching it to the player 2 spot. That was freaking crazy. I lost my mind at that. So to see that port, it would be freaking amazing. But then yet again, they have to start reinventing the wheel now, because that Kojima incident was too bad. It made them look really bad.
No, it did. It definitely did. I agree. What about you, Kink? What do you think of Konami remastering some games or making a new IP?
I think them remastering games, they're gonna run at a point where they can't remaster the games. I mean, what are they gonna do after that? Remaster the remasters?
They've done it.
They've done it. They have, really?
Yeah, they've done it.
What?
They've done a remaster of a remaster. What game did they do that to?
They took Resident Evil 4, remastered it the first time. This is Capcom. And then they remastered it again on the PC with HD graphics.
What the heck? I missed that.
Such remaster.
Yeah.
Well, they might. Yeah, I guess.
Let's remaster much HD.
Yeah.
I guess that's precedence right there for remastering to infinity and beyond. But I guess they're gonna have to make more content eventually, because they follow the money, and as long as the money is in the remastering of things, they'll keep doing it. But as soon as it stops making money, stops doing it. If you want to, that's the secret. If you want to see any company go under, just have nobody buy from them for like a day, and they'll go millions in the negative. Like
the only,
big company.
for sure, the only thing that helps Konami is their pachinko machines. That's what's making them money. Dino, what do you think, buddy?
I mean, pretty sure Konami's just having trouble getting sales in general, so I think this is gonna, if they were to do something like this, they're gonna help them out a little bit. I mean, they have nothing to lose. They actually, they have been putting more of their effort into mobile games with Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links and stuff like that. People are actually looking into that and doing that more, and Konami's been putting their effort more into mobile games now, because they kind of stopped. Though they didn't stop, but it seems like they're drifting away from making games on consoles, because it hasn't been working out for them as much as it has in the past. And then that's the other thing. So if I was Konami, you have nothing to lose. If there's these games that people liked in the past and you want to port it, you might as well do it, get some money from it, because you're not going to get any more money from your newer stuff because of everything that has happened so far. So obviously their direction is mobile. They're going to keep it that way, and I don't see them as any sort of real competitor in the future ever.
Yeah, for sure. Chadley, what are your thoughts, buddy?
Well, you said it right there. Konami's main focus right now is not console gaming. It's their other assets that they have going on right now. I mean, I just pulled up Konami's website, and I was trying to see them, a list of games that they might have come out with recently, and the only thing I can find is the slot machine games. They have a whole bunch of them, and that's just because that's what they're focusing on right now, it seems. They don't really seem to want to have a lot of focus on console gaming right now. And of course, it's a smart business move for them, because if they're making tons of money on those machines, why would they want to go back to console gaming, So
for sure.
I mean, yeah, we have fond memories of a lot of their classic games and stuff. It would be great to have them bring back games I know on Xbox they released, or one company released, the TMNT arcade, which was Konami, I guess, right? That was Konami, who originally released it on arcade.
Yep.
And then they came out with it on the Xbox, which would be nice to have that be ported on other systems. So for people that don't have Xbox or whatever, but that's really the only game, that and maybe X-Men and some of those other classic arcades that they had that were really, really popular back in the day that it would be nice to have those ported to the systems. But other than that, I mean, I only remember the Konami games back from the classic 8-bit, 16-bit era. I don't know of any of the newer ones like you guys do. But that's and that's because I never had a PlayStation, never had Xbox. Like, I'm all Nintendo basically. And so a lot of the Konami stuff that came out after the 16-bit era, like, I've never touched. So
And that's what they're gonna have to focus on, is getting those to the thing, and that's the only thing that they can do. Because they can't do this other stuff that they're trying, because clearly it doesn't work.
Pachinko remastered, what?
Pachinko remastered. All right, so we got time for one more question. I mean, we're at the mark now, so we'll just answer this question. Let's try to be a little quick on this one. So with the PlayStation Classic being 37 days away from launch, no word on the other 15 titles. Is the lack of hype making you doubt how successful it will actually be? Well, that's a really good question. Actually, I really like that question. Corey, what do you think?
Well, so I'm gonna say no. Initially, no. It's not gonna. It doesn't make me doubt how successful it will be. It does make me doubt how, like, day one successful it will be. Like, there's a lot of us that I didn't pre-order one yet. I think Amazon still has them up on pre-order or whatever, and I'll probably pre-order one pretty soon, as soon as I get a chance. Regardless of what games actually end up on it right away, because I'm a PlayStation fanboy.
Yeah.
But it is a little strange that, like, just over a month away from it, we haven't seen the majority of the games. We only know what 5 of the games are. And I don't recall them being very big hitters. Not to me, anyway. So I don't think it will affect how successful it will be overall, because people are going to buy it. I do think it's going to slow down day one sales, pre-orders, and stuff like that. Yep, that's me.
What about you, Venge? What are your thoughts on the PlayStation Classic?
Okay, so this is a question about the Classic?
Yeah, did you miss it? So it's just saying that with the Classic being 37 days away from launch, there's been no words on the other titles. Does this lack of hype make you doubt how successful the system will actually be?
Okay, yeah, that's what I missed. Okay, because, like, Discord just kind of, like, I don't know what happened to Discord. It just had to restart. Probably the same thing that Corey mentioned.
Yeah,
where he just kind of blipped. Thanos. That's a tough. Well, actually, that's not really a tough, because not really. I feel like what is all going to boil down to might be Nintendo pressure, but just saying. It's just gonna boil down to what games it has. I mean, really,
and if it can be modded.
Yep.
I heard nothing. But it does depend on those games. I mean, that's the huge selling point.
Yeah.
If we was to get the list, let's say 5 days from now, and or the day of, and we like the list, it's obvious what's going to happen. That's my take on that.
What about you, Kink? What's your take on this?
I don't know. Again, with all the just reselling old content, people will eat it right up. This included, the SNES just came out, the new SNES Classic, and then in fact, I'm sure that's exactly the reason. It's the success of all these older consoles getting re-released with all these extra things. Like, right, they did an NES and an SNES Mini now that had all the, like, main heavy hitter games. So, like, Sony is of course going to jump on that bandwagon. In fact, I wouldn't be freaking surprised if Xbox did the same thing, at some point, and started releasing an Xbox Mini. But for some reason, that just doesn't sound like it would work very well. I mean, I'm sure it could work, but like there's like not enough. There's not enough like Xbox specific like just great hitters. Like there are Xbox games that are like super that are good, but there's like nothing that like in when it comes to PlayStation, you have like Spyro, which is coming out. You have and like all that kind of all these iconic characters, Crash Bandicoot, and then Nintendo, you have Mario and Link and all those on those characters. So like because of those games being as popular as they were when they were back then, a re-release of all those games on a system where they can easily be accessed is going to be a huge sell point for again to reach a younger community that did not get to play them on the original service. Not to mention they won't have to play them with the probably the original and terrible controls.
No, for sure. Dino, what are your thoughts?
PlayStation Classic. The hype is definitely going to continue. The only reason why I think that they haven't announced it is, what was it, 37 days this person said?
Yep.
I think it's because they're going to probably wait the last 2 weeks. I think usually around 2 weeks is when they start rolling out things. And then they start bringing the hype in, because 37 days is way longer and people will forget in a month. So they want to make it so it's in the ballpark, got to remember it, but also hype them up once the release hits. So that is still a lengthy period. So I think 2 weeks they're going to announce a lot of these games and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely going to depend, on what games we're going to get. If it's games that, not many people really care or look to or want to play, that's just going to hinder that console. So then obviously no one's going to buy it. Obviously you're going to need some sort of games to get people to buy it. But I think the hype is there because there's a lot of people who just love PlayStation. You've got a fan base for that. It's not just people who just love Nintendo, and stuff like that. People love PlayStation. So then there's going to be a lot of people for that. So then you're going to have those games that they're hoping that will be on there, like Crash or Spyro. Who knows? Some of those big ones that people have been thinking about. They obviously want that. So I think the hype is still there, and it's going to be more hype at the 2 week mark.
For sure. Dadley, what are your thoughts?
Dino makes a really good point, because Nintendo, when they first announced the NES Classic, they could pretty much say it a year ahead of time. And because it was the first big company mini console release, people are going to remember it for a whole year. Like, people will be hyped until that thing is released. Now the fact that we have an NES Classic, we've got SNES Classic, we also had Sega, who had a bunch of failed attempts at a Sega Genesis Classic, with the potential one, because we didn't even bring up that one either yet, of the potential of a really good one coming out. And now we have the PlayStation Classic, which, if they were to say something too early, people will be like, it's just another classic system. Like, we're getting overloaded with these classic systems. But if they wait, like Dino said, if they wait, there's that Goldilocks zone at this point for this type of product, because now everyone's doing it. So you got to be really smart with your marketing on when to get people hyped about it, because if you do it too early, people will be hyped about it at the beginning, and then just it'll fizzle out, and then your sales won't be as good when it first comes out. If you do it too late, people will be frustrated because they didn't know about it until 2 days before it came out. So yeah, like, this product is I think they're doing a smart thing by waiting, but hopefully they don't wait too long. But as far as the PlayStation Classic, I mean, I'm excited for it just because I've never owned a PlayStation, but I've rented a PlayStation before, back in the day when you could do that type of thing. And I've played a bunch of great games on PlayStation. So I would love to see what other games are on it and be able to experience like the original PlayStation almost for the first time. Like, a lot of games I've never played. But I know that they're really great games, and I would love to experience them. For
sure. Yeah, like, I'm excited for it. I'm not gonna lie. The first 5 games they announced weren't crazy hype, but I mean, one of the things that I'm hoping, like I was talking a couple of months ago about possibly having Medieval on there. That's a nice old retro game. A lot of people know it. A lot of people don't know it. It's just this guy who's a skeleton, and he comes back from the dead to save. He comes back to save the day. I do know that PlayStation is remaking, not remastering, but remaking that game completely. So, I mean, this is potential for them to slip that into the PlayStation Classic. I hope they do. I really do hope they do. But other than that, I think I agree with Dino, you know. Wait till 2 weeks and give them a great list that nobody was expecting and hype it up to the max, right? But
Yeah,
I guess
I think it's a perfect time frame.
for sure. So only time will tell, I guess we can say. All right, guys, that is it for the podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you for taking time from your busy schedule, Kink and Dino, for joining us today as our special guests here at the TacoCast. Thank you very much. Everybody, thank you all for joining us today. We have 30 people watching. Who are we going to give the hyper raid to? Like, this is a big raid, so
Ooh,
let's see.
gift of gifts.
Okay, there's somebody.
Yeah, the TacoCast is live. Oh wait.
So
Sorry.
there's someone playing Paper Mario. He has 8 people watching. You guys down to
Yes.
give him a raid?
Do it.
Uh-oh, ultimate blessing.
All right, ultimate blessing, guys. We're gonna use hashtag taco. We'll do TacoCast raid. Let's do it like that. So hashtag TacoCast raid is what we're gonna use. And let's go ahead. Oh, Paul, thank you for that $2 donation, man. Everybody hashtag Paul for that $2 donation. So let me grab the link for you guys, and we'll go ahead and raid this wonderful person. We're gonna go ahead and raid. There it is. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and
You
raid.
all are awesome.
A Red Raven. He is playing Paper Mario.
Hey.
So
Beat you to it.
hashtag TacoCast raid is what we're gonna use. Let me bring up the raid. Let me see if I can get it up there. There it is. Let's see. Let me unmute him.
TacoCast raid. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome everybody.
It is.
Welcome CC
button.
Gaming. Welcome Spanish. Welcome Chadley. Welcome Steffi. Welcome Retro.
Yeah, look at that.
Welcome
That was
Welcome
hard.
Cora.
Like 20 people
Welcome
already. 24
Jesse.
people watching.
Welcome Paul.
GG, guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
Switch
that's a
Gamer.
strong one.
Welcome you-
That's a strong raid right there.
Welcome Baller.
All right, guys, that's it for today. Thank you all for joining us today. I super appreciate that. I'm just gonna close the raid window. Thank you again, Corey, Venge, Kink, Dino, Chadley, for joining me at the end of the month again for our wonderful TacoCast. It's always fun. Thank you all very much. Take care, guys. Have a good one, and don't forget the most important thing in the whole wide world. Come to my live stream. I'm super famous. Take care, guys. Have a good one. Bye.
Guys.